Chapter 581. Stop. A calm voice rang out. The crowd parted and Ling Xiao, Daoist Wuyang, and the others walked in. I've paid the 1 million ransom for the siblings, Ling Xiao said calmly. His eyes fell on Yi Feng and Yi Meng as he felt emotional. The Dark Sovereign, the descendant of the King of Assassins, had actually fallen to such a state. Ling Xiao's eyes turned cold. He didn't plan on meddling in other people's business, but when he felt the bloodline in Yi Feng and Yi Meng, he immediately decided to save them. In his previous life, Ling Xiao's third disciple, Yi Qianjue, cultivated the Tao of Darkness and became the Dark Sovereign. He specialized in the Tao of Slaughter, and was known as the King of Assassins. At his peak, even the Underworld Pavilion and Heavenly Court Pavilion would turn around and leave when they saw Yi Qianjue. Among Ling Xiao's 7 disciples, Yi Qianjue's cultivation wasn't the highest, but his combat strength was definitely the strongest. Under the state of assassination, Yi Qianjue had killed more than one sovereign. Yi Feng and Yi Meng actually had the Dark Sovereign bloodline, and also had the same surname. Ling Xiao believed that this wasn't a coincidence. Who are you? Han Feng looked at Ling Xiao with displeasure. These siblings are my old friends. I've paid the ransom for them. Here is 1 million pure yang pills, Ling Xiao said calmly. With a flash of light, a storage ring flew towards Han Feng. 1 million pure yang pills? Kid, you dare to meddle in the business of my Sky Demon Palace? You really have guts. Han Feng said with a cold laugh. Brother Han, this is a friend of mine. I hope that Brother Han can give me some face and let these two go. Xiong Xiaohe stood out and bowed to Han Feng with a smile. Xiong Xiaohe? Who do you think you are? Even your grandfather Xiong Xiaohe doesn't dare to ask me to give him face in front of me. A cold light flashed in Han Feng's eyes as he said with disdain. You bastard. Even though Xiong Xiaohe's personality was very simple, he was still enraged by Han Feng. His eyes were covered in a layer of blood. Han Feng, let people off when possible. Don't go too far. Take the pure yang pill and leave. Cheng Jie had a good relationship with Xiong Xiaohe. When he saw his friend being humiliated, a cold light flashed in his eyes as he said coldly, I was wondering who it was. He didn't expect it to be the formation tribulation of the Shura sect. Last time, you lost to me. Do you still want to humiliate yourself this time? A cold light flashed in Han Feng's eyes. He didn't expect Cheng Jie of the Shura sect to stand out. Although the Sky Demon Palace was a giant in the Wild Demon region, the Azura sect wasn't any weaker than the Sky Demon Palace. The Azura sect didn't discriminate between races. Not only were there human disciples, but there were also many demon experts. The relationship between the Sky Demon Palace and the Azura sect was very tense. Last time, if you didn't rely on the quasi-supreme weapon, it's hard to say who would have won. Han Feng, you've already gotten 1 million pure yang pills. Don't be so ungrateful. Although Cheng Jie did not know why Ling Xiao wanted to save this pair of siblings, 1 million pure yang pills was indeed a sky-high price. It was even enough to hire a half-step Supreme Being expert as a guard. There was no need to use so many pure yang pills to redeem this pair of siblings. Han Feng was clearly asking for too much. They're my slaves. If I want to release them, I'll release them. If I don't want to release them, I won't release them. Brat, take your pure yang pills and get lost. Otherwise, don't blame me for being impolite. The storage ring in Han Feng's hand instantly flew back to Ling Xiao. Although he coveted the 1 million pure yang pills, this was a matter of face. He couldn't compromise like this. Is that so? I'm going to protect this pair of siblings today. What do you want? Ling Xiao sneered. Since Han Feng didn't want to give him face, he couldn't blame him. Han Feng's face turned cold, and a cold killing intent flashed in his eyes. He was also a prodisciple in the Sky Demon Palace. His status was extremely high. In the entire Wild Demon region, even those half-step Supreme Being old monsters had to be respectful to him. However, he was now provoked by a young man who came out of nowhere. Young master, he seems to be Ling Xiao. Beside Han Feng, a demon expert's eyes flashed as he whispered, Ling Xiao? Which Ling Xiao? Han Feng was stunned. The Ling Xiao who killed South Celestial Venerable, Qi Sha, Pajun and Tan Lang in Heaven God City. Legend has it that Ling Xiao obtained the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God. Han Feng's body trembled. It's him? South Celestial Venerable, and the 3 stars of the Star Palace were all experts of the Imperial Path. They were extremely famous, and even Han Feng was wary of them. Ling Xiao had killed 4 of them consecutively. Ling Xiao was no longer a nobody. He was already regarded as one of the top geniuses in the War God continent by the older generation. Han Feng couldn't help but be wary of him. However, when he thought of the legend that Ling Xiao obtained the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God, his heart burned with passion. You're Ling Xiao? It's not impossible to redeem Yi Feng and Yi Meng. Give me the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God in exchange. Han Feng rolled his eyes and smiled maliciously. He's Ling Xiao? The one who killed South Celestial Venerable and the 3 stars of the Star Palace? Did he really obtain the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God? It's possible. Look, he's only in the noble realm. If he can kill South Celestial Venerable, he must have a big secret. Han Feng from the Sky Demon Palace isn't someone to be trifled with. The person behind him is the Sky-Burning Demon Emperor, the young master of the Sky Demon Palace. Legend has it that the Sky-Burning Demon Emperor has already broken through to the half-sovereign realm. He's known as the peerless genius who has the highest chance of becoming a sovereign. When the crowd heard Han Feng's words, they were all shocked. Their eyes fell on Ling Xiao, and some of them started to discuss among themselves. The news of the Heavenly God Convention had spread throughout the War God continent, and Ling Xiao had become the focus of attention. Not to mention, he was rumored to have the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God. Many people had their eyes on him. The inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God? Not to mention that I don't have it. Even if I did, do you think you're worthy? Here's 1,000,000 pure yang pills. Whether you want them or not, I'm taking the siblings away. Ling Xiao smiled coldly, and the storage ring in his hand flew to Han Feng. He walked up to Yi Feng and Yi Meng, and turned to leave. Ling Xiao, Yi Feng and Yi Meng were also affected by my slave seal. Do you believe that I can kill them with just a thought? Han Feng's face turned pale. Ling Xiao's actions were a slap to his face. He didn't give him any face at all. Han Feng's voice also became threatening. You can try. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Without turning his head, he left the crowd with Yi Feng and Yi Meng. Chapter 582. Young Master, what should we do? The Demon Clan expert beside Han Feng asked. Let him be arrogant for a while. Since he dares to come to Two World City, he can forget about leaving. I believe there will be people who are interested in him. Han Feng's eyes were filled with murderous intent. He turned around and left with the crowd. The news of Ling Xiao's appearance spread throughout Two World City almost instantly. There were many figures outside the Heavenly Fragrance restaurant. They were all searching for Ling Xiao's whereabouts. The Two Realm City was suddenly filled with undercurrents. Ling Xiao didn't care at all. He returned to the Heavenly Fragrance restaurant with Yi Feng and Yi Meng. With Ling Xiao's current means, he didn't have to worry at all as long as he didn't send out a supreme martial artist. Brother Ling, after you were exposed today, I'm afraid there will be a lot of trouble. Jian Yuanchen said worriedly. Yes, Brother Ling. Those people from the Sky Demon Palace are very arrogant and overbearing. Han Feng must have a grudge against you. He didn't dare to do anything in Two World City today. I'm afraid he will secretly attack you. Xiong Xiaohe said quickly. Don't worry. I don't care about the Sky Demon Palace. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes fell on Yi Feng and Yi Meng. Yi Feng looked to be about 17 or 18 years old. He was already at the first level of the Heaven Realm. His talent seemed to be quite extraordinary. Yi Meng was very weak. Although she was beautiful, her face was pale and sickly, which made people feel pity for her. Thank you for saving our lives, benefactor. Yi Feng and Yi Meng knelt down in front of Ling Xiao. Their faces were full of gratitude as they bowed respectfully. Ling Xiao didn't stop them. He deserved this bow. After the two of them kowtowed 3 times, Ling Xiao helped them up. How did the descendants of Yi Qianjue become Han Feng's slaves? Tell me. Ling Xiao said slowly. He could see that Yi Feng and Yi Meng had the dark bloodline in their bodies. Especially Yi Meng. Her dark bloodline was comparable to Yi Qianjue's in the past. That was why her meridians were blocked and she couldn't cultivate. The dark bloodline was very strange. It had to be activated with a special method. Otherwise, the body would be very weak and the life source would be eroded by the power of darkness. If it was the great sun demon Venerable, he might be able to discover the extraordinariness of Yi Feng and Yi Meng's bloodline. However, Han Feng did not have the ability to do so. Benefactor, you know about the ancestor? Yi Feng said in surprise and shame. Yi Qianjue is the third disciple of the heaven-devouring sovereign. I've heard of his deeds. Moreover, the two of you possess the bloodline of darkness. How did you end up in such a state? Ling Xiao sighed and asked. Benefactor, there is something you don't know. Yi Feng laughed bitterly and said, since the calamity 10,000 years ago and the disappearance of my ancestor, my Yi clan has fallen into decline. Our ancestors' inheritance wasn't left behind, and coupled with the fact that the Yi clan has very few descendants, the Yi clan isn't the Yi clan from all those years ago. Our parents passed away a long time ago, leaving me and my sister to depend on each other. A few years ago, when I was picking herbs in the savage domain, I was unintentionally captured by Han Feng and became his slave. After listening to Yi Feng's explanation, Ling Xiao finally understood the Yi family's situation. The heavenly book of darkness that Yi Qianjue cultivated was also a supreme martial art that Ling Xiao had passed down. Ling Xiao had found it in a ruin, and it was very compatible with the bloodline of darkness. It was extremely powerful. If the heavenly book of darkness could be passed down, the Yi clan would probably be in a different state. Are the two of you willing to follow me? Yi Meng's physique is too weak. If she can't awaken the bloodline of darkness in time, her life might be in danger. Ling Xiao glanced at the two siblings and smiled. Ling Xiao could see that Yi Feng wasn't telling him the complete truth. Perhaps he was still on guard. The Yi clan was probably hiding something. Life in danger? Benefactor, we are willing to follow you. Please save my sister's life. Even if Yi Feng has to be a cow or a horse, he will repay your great kindness. Yi Feng was shocked and he quickly knelt down before Ling Xiao. Although he knew that Yi Meng's body was very weak, and no matter how many heavenly treasures he gave her to strengthen her blood energy, he didn't think that her life would be in danger. Yi Meng's face turned even paler after hearing Ling Xiao's words. Don't worry. Since they are following me, they are my people. Even the heavens can't take Yi Meng's life. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Back then, Yi Qianjue's bloodline of darkness was awakened under Ling Xiao's guidance. Therefore, it wasn't difficult for Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, this little girl's bloodline of darkness is very strong. If you want her to completely awaken, you must have a demon core of the darkness attribute. It must be at least at the demon emperor level. Taoist Wuliang looked at Yi Meng and said slowly. That's right. If you want a perfect awakening, you will need at least a few stalks of sacred medicine. You should be able to find them in Two World City. Let's go to the treasure pavilion first. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. A demon core of the darkness attribute, and it must be at the demon emperor level. It might be difficult to find in other places, but it shouldn't be difficult in Two World City. Yi Feng and Yi Meng looked at each other. Their eyes were filled with deep gratitude. A demon core of the demon emperor level, and a supreme sacred medicine. They didn't even dare to think about it. However, Ling Xiao had prepared these treasures in order to awaken Yi Meng's bloodline of darkness. They couldn't be more grateful. Ling Xiao was going to the treasure pavilion. Jian Yuanchen, Xiong Xiaohe and Cheng Jia had nothing to do, so they also planned to follow Ling Xiao to take a look. The treasure pavilion was located all over the War God continent. In Two World City, it was also one of the most magnificent buildings. A 9-story pavilion rose from the ground. It occupied an area of thousands of feet. It was like a giant tower that reached the sky, emitting a mysterious light. This was the treasure pavilion of Two World City. At the entrance of the treasure pavilion stood a few vixens in gorgeous clothes. They were pretty and their big eyes were captivating. In particular, the fluffy fox tails behind them added to their charm. When Ling Xiao led Yi Feng, Yi Meng and the others into the treasure pavilion, Taoist Wu Yang's eyes widened, and his saliva almost flowed out. Even Xiong Xiaohei's face was full of embarrassment. Brother Ling, those people are following us sneakily. It seems that they know your identity. Jian Yuanchen glanced behind him and said slowly. Behind Ling Xiao and the others, there were some martial artists with obscure auras. They followed them like passers-by. They looked sneaky and kept looking at Ling Xiao. Don't worry about them. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He didn't care at all, and walked straight into the treasure pavilion. Young friend Ling, we are honored by your presence in our treasure pavilion. We haven't seen each other in Heavenly God City for many days. I didn't expect us to be so fated. An old and peaceful laughter came. The great elder of the treasure pavilion, Chen Tong, who had white hair and white beard, walked towards Ling Xiao with a smile in his eyes. Chapter 583. Elder Chen? We are indeed fated to meet. Ling Xiao smiled. He didn't expect to meet the great elder of the precious treasure pavilion here. Chen Tong smiled. After the Heavenly God Assembly, the holy ground will open soon. So this old man is accompanying a few juniors from the pavilion. When the time comes to enter the holy ground, I will need your help. Ling Xiao smiled. Elder Chen is too polite, but if you need my help, I will naturally not be a problem. He had a good impression of Chen Tong. This old man was a good person, and had stood up for Ling Xiao several times in Heavenly God City. Ling Xiao naturally understood the meaning behind Chen Tong's words. He hoped that Ling Xiao could take care of the precious treasure pavilion's disciples in the holy ground. Then this old man will thank you in advance. Is there anything you need to buy? Today, no matter what you want to buy, it will all be 30% off. Chen Tong laughed. Hearing Chen Tong's words, the attendants of the precious treasure pavilion all sucked in a breath of cold air. 30% was the biggest discount the precious treasure pavilion could offer. Generally, only the big shots of the Holy Lands, and they had to be big customers of the precious treasure pavilion, would receive this kind of treatment. What ability did this young man have to make the great elder think so highly of him? Since Chen Tong had spoken, Ling Xiao didn't hold back. He smiled and said, "Thank you, great elder. I need dark attribute monster cores, yin-yang profound fruit, void black gold vine, and shadowless divine wood. Does the precious treasure pavilion have them?" The deacons of the precious treasure pavilion were all shocked. The yin-yang mysterious fruit, the black golden vines of the void, and the shadowless divine wood were all supreme panaceas that were extraordinarily precious. Moreover, they had only heard of these panaceas because they were too rare. Normally, they would only grow in forbidden areas where people rarely went. Dark attribute monster cores were even rarer. Demonic beasts were usually invisible. Dark attribute demonic beasts were definitely ancient variants, and even those with divine beast bloodlines were very difficult to obtain. Chen Tong thought for a while and said, "Young friend Ling, I happen to have the yin-yang profound fruit and the black golden vines in my precious treasure pavilion. However, the shadowless divine wood and the darkness attributed monster core are too rare and expensive. They were sold at the precious treasure pavilion's auction a few months ago." "I see." Ling Xiao nodded. He also knew the preciousness of the shadowless divine wood and the darkness type Yao core. The shadowless divine wood grew in places of extreme darkness. It had to grow in endless darkness for tens of thousands of years, absorbing the power of darkness in order to be born. Darkness attribute Yao cores were even harder to come by. However, I do know of a place that has divine shadowless wood and darkness type Yao cores, but... Chen Tong said hesitantly. "But what?" Ling Xiao asked, puzzled. Chen Tong smiled bitterly and said, "On the Heavenly Demon Street in the west of the city, there is a small shop called the Ancient Pavilion. It should have shadowless divine wood and darkness attribute Yao cores. However, that senior's temper is too strange. He doesn't allow strangers to enter. Many people have been chased out by him, so I'm not sure if you can get it." "Ancient Xian?" Ling Zhao's heart skipped a beat. He asked with some surprise. To be addressed as senior by the first elder, could it be that the shop owner is a sovereign stage expert? "He's not a sovereign, but he has the power of a sovereign," Chen Tong said with a grave expression. Ling Xiao nodded. This was a very special kind of person. For example, Feng Shui Master Li Chunfeng was not a sovereign, but he had the combat strength of a sovereign. In addition to feng shui masters, there were some special people who also had the power of a sovereign. Even real sovereign stage experts were wary of them. Thank you for telling me, First Elder. I'm going to give it a try, Ling Xiao said with a smile. In his heart, he was curious about the ancient Xian. Young friend Ling, you must be careful. Although I've never heard of that senior killing anyone, when he's unhappy he's even beaten up real sovereigns. Chen Tong warned. I understand. Thank you. Ling Xiao nodded and said. Finally, Chen Tong took out the yin-yang mysterious fruit and the black golden void vine. The yin-yang mysterious fruit was a green fruit shrouded in black and white qi. Mysterious laws flowed around it, making it look extraordinary. On the other hand, the black golden void vine had a trace of the space attribute. It was extremely spiritual. If it wasn't sealed, it could even escape through the void. It was extremely mysterious. Of these two sacred herbs, the yin-yang mysterious fruit was worth 300,000 pure yang pills, while the black golden void vine was worth 500,000 pure yang pills. Even with Chen Tong's 30% discount, Ling Xiao still paid 560,000 pure yang pills. 560,000 pure yang pills. Yi Feng and Yi Ming's eyes were wide open. They were extremely shocked. How terrifying would the darkness attribute monster core and shadowless divine would be? Apart from shock, all that was left in their hearts was a deep sense of gratitude. After all, even a real sovereign stage expert wouldn't spend millions of pure yang pills to save an ordinary person who had nothing to do with him. Ling Xiao left the precious treasure pavilion and headed in the direction of the ancient Xian. After Ling Xiao left, Chen Tong looked deeply at Ling Xiao and went straight to the 9th floor of the precious treasure pavilion. There was only one quiet room on the 9th floor. A beautiful woman in a red dress sat cross-legged in the middle of the room. The woman's long hair was like a waterfall. Her skin was smooth and her face was flawless. Her seductive eyes were especially beautiful. They were misty and shone brilliantly. One couldn't help but be mesmerized by them. Her figure was very hot, and her fair breasts were on the verge of popping out. Her small waist was small, and her thighs were slender and straight. Her jade feet were exquisite, and she looked very lazy as she reclined on the bed. There was a different kind of charm and temptation. In particular, there were 9 furry tails swaying behind her, making her look extremely demonic. Saintess, what do you think of this person? Chen Tong asked respectfully. Not bad. He was able to kill South Celestial Venerable, Qi Sha, Pajun, and Tanlang with his noble stage cultivation. It's obvious that he has a big secret. A crisp and pleasant voice sounded. The woman in red smiled slightly. Instantly, the entire quiet room lost its color. Even Chen Tong had to suppress his thoughts. The saintess seduction technique was getting more and more unfathomable. However, the most important thing is that he has a firm heart. He distinguishes between kindness and hatred. He's a reliable person. If he can help me this time, I should have a 50% chance of entering the holy ground this time. Only 50%? Chen Tong sighed softly. There was a trace of worry in his eyes. 50% is already not small. The woman in red laughed softly. There was a trace of coldness in her eyes as she said, I've nurtured a tiger in the past. Now that those fellows have jumped out, if I don't take the risk, I'm afraid they'll succeed. Saintess, do you want to see him? Chen Tong's eyes dimmed. He shook his head and asked. There's no need. When the holy ground opens, I'll naturally look for him. This young man won't be able to escape from me. Chapter 584. Ling Xiao followed Chen Tong's directions and came to the Celestial Demon Street. The Celestial Demon Street looked very old and shabby. It was not as prosperous as the street where the treasure pavilion was located, but it was more lively. There were stalls on both sides of the road, and the stall owners were all warriors with powerful cultivation. Ling Xiao looked around and found that most of the stalls here were experts of the demon clan. They were at least at the demon royal realm. And there were even many experts who were half a step away from the demon venerable realm. There were all kinds of treasures of heaven and earth, precious Taoist pills, Taoist weapons, and even quasi-supreme weapons. Mysterious rune formations could be seen everywhere, which was dazzling. The divine river iron? Jian Yuanshan's eyes flashed. He saw a fist-sized piece of black iron on the stall in front of him. It was flowing with silver starlight and was surrounded by sharp qi of Gengjin. It looked extraordinary at first glance. The stall owner was a burly man with silver hair. He was at the 9th level of the Emperor realm. Ling Xiao took a look at him and knew that he was a silver dragon demonic beast. He had thousands of years of cultivation, and his qi and blood were very vigorous. How much is the divine river iron? Jian Yuanshan was a little tempted. He walked up and asked. The divine river iron was a top treasure of heaven and earth for refining divine swords. It could even be refined into a supreme sword. However, this piece of divine river iron was too small to be refined into a supreme weapon. Jian Yuanshan wanted to integrate the divine river iron into his natal divine sword to improve the quality of his natal divine sword. I only want to exchange it for a supreme elixir to improve cultivation. The stall owner said expressionlessly. A supreme elixir to improve cultivation? Are you trying to rob me? It's such a big piece of divine river iron. It's more like 8 or 10 pieces. Taoist Wuliang curled his lips and said, if you want to exchange it, then do it. If not, then leave. Don't affect my business. The stall owner was very tough. He glanced at Taoist Wuliang and said indifferently, what a pity. Jian Yuanshan put it down reluctantly. Although the divine river iron was precious, it was far from enough to exchange for a supreme elixir to improve cultivation. Moreover, Jian Yuanshan did not have a supreme elixir. Brother Jian, if you believe me, wait a little longer. The divine river iron is not the most suitable material for your natal divine sword. Ling Xiao glanced at Jian Yuanshan and said with a smile. Okay. Jian Yuanshan smiled bitterly. He thought that Ling Xiao was comforting him and did not care. Heavenly origin heavy flower, bamboo grass, starry sky dark gold stone. My goodness, these are all top-grade heavenly treasures. Xiong Xiaohe Cheng Jie Yifeng and Yi Meng were all dazzled. They had never seen so many precious treasures. There are real and fake treasures in this kind of stall. You have to rely on your own eyesight. If you are able to find a treasure, its value might increase by 10 times or even 100 times. However, if you buy a fake, then you are really out of luck. Ling Xiao said with a smile. At the front of the stall, a middle-aged human expert was selling the treasures of his stall to the customers in front of him. He had a shifty look and was very shrewd. Standing in front of him was a burly man in tiger skin. His cultivation was at the 1st level of the monarch realm. He was holding a golden bone and hesitating. Brother, this divine bone is the supreme divine bone of the golden tyrant tiger. It contains the supreme laws and supreme divine powers. It also contains a trace of the golden tyrant tiger's bloodline power. If you can refine this supreme divine bone, you will become a supreme in the future. The shrewd stall owner was trying his best to introduce the divine bone of the golden tyrant tiger. The burly man in tiger skin was obviously tempted, but he still said hesitantly, I do want to buy this divine bone, but 2 million pure yang pills is too expensive. I don't have so many pure yang pills at all. Then how many pure yang pills do you have? The shrewd stall owner's eyes flashed and he quickly asked. I only have 1,500,000 pure yang pills. The burly man in tiger skin said honestly. The stall owner was overjoyed. As expected, this is another one-track-minded expert of the demon race. He's too honest. He revealed all his wealth just by asking casually. 1,500,000 pure yang pills it is. Since we're fated to meet, I'll take a loss today and sell it to you for 1,500,000 pure yang pills. Don't forget to support me when you become a supreme in the future. The stall owner pretended to have a pained expression as if he was extremely unwilling, but he still gritted his teeth and spoke in the end. Really? You really are a good person. Thank you, thank you. The burly man in tiger skin had a grateful expression on his face. He was about to take out the pure yang pills when a voice stopped him. Huzi huzi. Xiong Xiaohei's face was filled with excitement as he hurriedly shouted. Xiaohei. Ha ha ha. Xiaohei, what are you doing here? The burly man in tiger skin turned around and instantly revealed a pleasantly surprised expression. He hurriedly ran over and hugged Xiong Xiaohei tightly. These two fellows are really passionate. However, Ling Xiao, This Wuxia is really stupid. He spent 1,500,000 pure yang pills to buy a piece of broken bone. Aren't you going to expose that fellow? Taoist Wuliang curled his lips and said, Don't worry. Since he's my brother, I naturally won't let him fool me. Ling Zhao's lips curled into a smile. How could he not see that the so-called Golden Tyrant Tiger's supreme godly bone was a fake? Xiaohe, look at what good treasure I found. This is the Golden Tyrant Tiger's supreme godly bone. If my old man saw it, he would definitely praise me. This is a good treasure. Wuxia held up the golden bone and showed it to Xiaohe as if he was presenting a treasure. His face was filled with pride. Ling Xiao shook his head and thought to himself, Praise you? If your old man knew that you spent 1,500,000 pure yang pills to buy this broken thing, he would probably hang you up and beat you. Fellow cultivator, hurry up and give me the pure yang pills. If you give me the pure yang pills, this supreme godly bone will be yours. The monkey-faced stall owner hurriedly urged when he saw that so many people had gathered around him. He immediately felt that something was amiss. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll give you the pure yang pills right now. Wuxia's face was filled with apologies as he prepared to take out the pure yang pills. Hold on. A calm voice rang out as Ling Xiao walked over. Kid, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to cause trouble? Hurry up and leave. Don't disturb my business. The stall owner hurriedly urged Ling Xiao impatiently. The ominous feeling in his heart intensified when he saw Ling Xiao. Xiaohe, Wuxia, if this is really the Golden Tyrant Tiger's supreme godly bone, 1,500,000 pure yang pills is really not that expensive. However, don't you think it's a little too much to pass it off as a Golden Tyrant Tiger's supreme godly bone? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. What? The Golden Tyrant Tiger? Chapter 585. Xiaohe, who is he? This is clearly the supreme godbone of the Golden Tyrant Tiger. I can't be wrong about the power of the bloodline. Wuxia said doubtfully. Wuxia, he is Brother Ling, trust Brother Ling's judgment. If he says it's fake, then it must be fake. This bastard is trying to trick you. Xiaohe was very confident in Ling Xiao. He had seen Ling Xiao gambling in the Celestial Stone, and he had never lost. Moreover, the stones he cut out were all earth-shattering supreme treasures. Therefore, he instinctively believed Ling Xiao's words. Kid, are you trying to stir up trouble? I, Weio, am an honest and trustworthy person in Celestial Demon Street. If you don't tell me something today, I won't let you off. The stall owner looked at Ling Xiao coldly, his eyes flashing with killing intent. You really won't shed a tear until you see the coffin. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Although the Golden Tyrant Tiger and the Golden Tyrant Tiger are both tigers, one is an ordinary tiger, while the other is an ancient divine beast. This bone of yours came from a half-step supreme being from the Golden Tyrant Tiger clan. However, I don't know where you got the bloodline of the Golden Tyrant Tiger, but you smeared it on this bone and refined it with the Infinity Flower, Gastrodia grass, and 10,000 blood spirit fusion fruit to disguise it as the laws and bloodline of the supreme godbone. This method is very clever. I'm afraid that even the Golden Tyrant Tiger clan would be easily fooled by you. Am I right? The more Ling Xiao spoke, the paler Weio's face became. He looked flustered and exasperated, knowing that there was no way to hide it anymore. However, he still refused to admit his mistake. Don't spout nonsense here. This is clearly the supreme godbone of the Tyrant Golden Tiger that I dug out from the holy ground. Do you really think that I won't dare to touch you if you try to slander me? If you can't produce evidence today, don't blame me for being rude. Isn't it easy to get evidence? Ling Xiao sneered. The supreme godly bone of the Tyrant Golden Tiger is as hard as diamond. Even supreme weapons can't damage it. Why don't we give it a try and see how hard it is? What do you think? Weio broke out in cold sweat. At this time, even Jian Yuanchen, Cheng Jia, Xiong Xiaohe and Wuxia noticed that something was wrong. He didn't expect to meet a swindler. Come. My demonic earth axe is only a pseudo-supreme weapon. I want to see if this supreme godbone is real or fake. Xiong Xiaohe couldn't hold it in any longer. He took out a black mountain-splitting axe and hacked at the golden bone. Crack! A burst of resplendent light exploded, and the golden bone was instantly split into two. Xiong Xiaohei's speed was too fast, so fast that even Weio couldn't stop him in time. All right, you liar. How dare you cheat your grandpa who of his pure yang pills? I'll beat you to death. Wuxia immediately flew into a rage. 1,500,000 pure yang pills for such a lousy toy. If it wasn't for Ling Zhao's reminder, he would probably be beaten to death by the old man when he returned. While Wuxia was grateful to Ling Zhao, he was filled with endless anger towards Weio. However, Weio was also slippery. He instantly put away all the things on the stall and jumped out of the encirclement of the crowd. Just you wait, I'll remember you. Kid, don't let your grandpa Wei see you next time. Weio was a 9th-level emperor after all, so he easily dodged Wuxia's attack. He pointed at Ling Zhao, his eyes filled with hatred. He turned around and ran away at an extremely fast speed. That bastard. Xiong Xiaohei was also furious. He waved the demonic earth axe in his hand, wanting to attack Weio, but the old man was too slippery. Thank you, Brother Ling. If it wasn't for you, I'm afraid I would have been cheated by him. Wuxia scratched his head embarrassedly and said sincerely, It's fine. You have the bloodline of the Golden Tyrant Tiger, so it's natural that you want to buy the Supreme God Bone. However, you have to open your eyes wide. There are many swindlers on the streets. Follow me. I know of a treasure in the holy ground that can allow you to completely evolve into a Golden Tyrant Tiger. Ling Zhao smiled faintly. Wuxia's original body was only a Golden Tyrant Tiger. Although he had a trace of the Golden Tyrant Tiger's bloodline, it hadn't completely awakened. Really? Thank you, Brother Ling. I'll follow you from now on. I'll chop whoever you ask me to. If anyone dares to harm you, I'll twist their head off. Wuxia's face was full of excitement. However, he was wearing a tiger skin, revealing his pale golden skin. He had a big shiny bald head and a fierce face. He looked exactly like a hooligan. In comparison, although Xiong Xiaohei was a little tanned, he looked much more honest than Wuxia. Let's go. Ling Zhao smiled. He had already seen the Taiguxian signboard, which was at the end of the Heavenly Demon Street. The Taiguxian looked like a rundown shop, but when they got close to it, they couldn't help but shudder. They felt a wave of yin qi surging into their bodies. With the Taiguxian as the center, no one dared to set up a stall within a radius of 300 meters. It was obvious that the Taiguxian was very strange. The door of the Taiguxian was wide open. There were a few wooden shelves inside, and on top of them were some black things. There were human skulls, broken pots, broken incense burners, and dirty stones. At first glance, everyone felt as if they had entered a place that collected junk. If it wasn't for the words Taiguxian clearly written on the door, they would have thought that they had entered the wrong place. There was a deck chair in the Taiguxian, and a dirty old man was lying on it. He wore a shabby Taoist robe, his beard was unshaven, and his face was full of wrinkles. His eyes were slightly closed, and he was snoring softly. He was actually sleeping. Everyone was a little surprised. This was the senior that Shentong mentioned? This was too unconventional. Ling Zhao's eyes lit up when he saw the items on the shelf. Supreme Weapon, Supreme Divine Metal, Peerless Beast Core, but they are all tainted with the aura of the Great Tomb. As expected of someone from the Tomb King City, Ling Zhao thought in his heart, confirming his guess. The Tomb King City was a mysterious force in the War God continent. Its strength was not weaker than those martial Dao Holy Lands. Just like the Feng Shui family, it was said that they had suffered the wrath of the heavens, and their bloodline was shackled. They would never be able to reach the supremacy realm. The Tomb King City made a living by robbing tombs. Most of the tombs they robbed were ancient tombs, and even the tombs of the gods. They had been to places like the 8 Great Forbidden Lands countless times, and had accumulated countless heavenly treasures. It was said that the Tomb King City robbed tombs to steal the secrets of the heavens, to break the shackles of the bloodline. However, not many people knew about this rumor. Even the name of the Tomb King City was only known to the Supremacy Realm experts. Chapter 586. This is Azura Divine Liquid. Cheng Jie exclaimed. He saw a jade bottle on the shelf with the words Azura Divine Liquid on it, which made him excited. The Azura Divine Elixir was formed in a land of deathly stillness. The Azura Divine Elixir was formed from the supreme baleful aura and killing intent of the heavens and earth for countless years. It allowed one to better comprehend the Azura will and touch upon the Tao of Azura. Even in the Azura sect, the Azura Divine Liquid was extremely precious and could only be found by chance. Cheng Jie did not expect to find it here. If Cheng Jie could get the Azura Divine Liquid, it was very likely that he could condense the legendary Dharma Laksana of Azura Divine powers and break through to the royal realm immediately. Sacred 10 Swords. Jian Yuanchen saw a scroll on the shelf with the words, Sacred 10 Swords on it, which made him extremely shocked. It was said that the Sacred 10 Swords was written by the Sacred 10 Swords of the ancient Sacred 10 Swords. It was not a supreme divine power, but it could help sword practitioners condense the supreme sword heart, cut through all restraints and reach the sword heart connected to the spirit. Jian Yuanchen had stayed in the noble realm for so long because his sword heart was not pure enough and still needed to be polished. The Sacred 10 Swords was the most suitable for him. In this small Taiguxian, the things on the shelves looked like rubbish, but if one looked carefully, they were all earth-shattering supreme treasures. Even Xiong Xiaohe found a monster elixir of the earth demon bear, which made him drool. On a closer look, those shabby incense burners and broken pots were all famous supreme weapons from the ancient times. Although they were a little damaged, their value was still immeasurable. Ling Xiao saw a fist-sized black monster elixir on the shelf. It was as black as ink, as if it contained a dark vortex that could devour one's mind. The black monster elixir emitted a mysterious light, as if a black divine dog had appeared. It had 3 heads and wanted to devour heaven and earth. The monster elixir of the 3-headed hound of hell. Ling Zhao's voice was a little serious. The 3-headed hound of hell was an ancient divine beast. It was said that it had 3 lives and its destiny belonged to darkness. It could release dark destructive divine light, which was terrifying. It was the purest divine beast of darkness. Furthermore, this beast's core was at least at the supreme realm. It was incomparably precious. Ling Xiao could also see that this monster core looked very ancient and had lost a lot of its power. It was exuding a tomb qi. It should have been stolen from some tomb by the Tomb King city. Ling Xiao did not see the shadowless divine tree, but he knew that this old man was from the Tomb King city, which gave him a lot of confidence. In the entire War God Great World, there was probably nothing that the Tomb King city couldn't obtain. So noisy, who let you in? Don't disturb this old man's sleep. Get out of here. The old man on the deck chair opened his eyes and looked at Ling Xiao and the others impatiently. Senior, I want to buy the Heaven Heart 10 Swords. How many pure yang pills would it cost? Jian Yuanchen carefully glanced at the old man and asked. Not for sale. I'm not in a good mood today, so I won't be doing business. Scram. The old man said without even opening his eyes. Brother Ling, what should we do? Jian Yuanchen, Cheng Jie and the others looked at Ling Xiao helplessly. The owner of Taiguxian was really eccentric. If he was in a bad mood, he wouldn't be doing business. However, Taiguxian was really full of good treasures. Disciples of the Holy Land like Jian Yuanchen and Cheng Jie were extremely envious. It's okay, he'll be in a good mood later. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and looked at the old guy on the reclining chair. Suddenly, he spat out an obscure syllable which contained a strange rhythm. Although Jian Yuanchen and the others could not understand it, they felt that there was a mysterious power of law in it. The old man, who had his eyes closed, opened his eyes in an instant. There was a trace of excitement in his eyes. After Ling Xiao spat out the syllable, he smiled and said, Since the owner is in a bad mood, then we won't disturb you. Stop right there. The old man jumped up and ran in front of Ling Xiao. He stared at Ling Xiao and said, This is the general outline of destiny? There was a trace of nervousness in the old man's voice. He looked very perturbed and excited. Yes, this is the destiny general outline, Ling Xiao said with a smile. How do you know about the destiny general outline? The old man's voice was a little hoarse. Boom. A powerful aura emanated from the old man. It was magnificent and unfathomable. The gloomy aura seemed to drag people into hell and sink into the darkness forever. Of course, I got it by chance. Why should I tell you? Ling Xiao smiled and turned to leave Taiguxian. Don't go. The old man suddenly became anxious. His figure flashed, and he instantly blocked Ling Xiao's way. The expression on his face was very interesting. Why? Do the people of Tomb Monarch City want to rob me? Ling Xiao smiled faintly and there was a trace of sharpness in his eyes. You really know that I'm from Tomb Monarch City? In that case, name your price. As long as you give me the Destiny General outline, I'll give you whatever you want. The old man finally gave in and looked at Ling Xiao with a wry smile. Jian Yuanchen, Cheng Jie and the others opened their eyes wide. What was the Destiny General outline? They had never heard of it before. In the end, when the arrogant old man heard the words Destiny General outline, it was as if he had been injected with chicken blood. How many of the 9 writings of destiny have you obtained? Ling Xiao glanced at the old man and asked softly. The old man shuddered but still smiled wryly. Young noble is indeed a wise man. Out of the 9 chapters of Heaven's Will, our Tomb King City has only obtained 7 of them after so many years. We are only missing the general outline and the most mysterious 9th chapter. So you're the Tomb Monarch of Tomb Monarch City? Ling Xiao looked at the old man and asked. That's right. I'm the Tomb Monarch of Tomb Monarch City Mu Tianji. The old man said slowly and his eyes became dignified. Jian Yuanchen, Cheng Jie and the others were puzzled by the name Mu Tianji. Logically speaking, they should have heard of such a terrifying person. However, they felt that he was a stranger. When Taoist Wuliang heard the name Mu Tianji, his eyes flashed with a gleam. Mu Tianji? Good name. I can give you the Destiny General outline. However, I want 9 complete space crystals and the boundary-breaking shuttle. Ling Xiao looked at Mu Tianji and said. What? Chapter 587. The world-breaking shuttle was one of the most precious treasures of the Tomb King City, and Ling Xiao was really asking for an exorbitant price. The world-breaking shuttle was a broken divine tool that was able to traverse through thousands of worlds. It was extremely mysterious, and the people of the Tomb King City had studied it for countless years. They even discovered that a complete world-breaking shuttle could directly traverse between the mortal realm and the divine realm to reach the legendary divine realm. After so many years, the Tomb King City still had no way to repair the world-breaking shuttle. However, with the world-breaking shuttle, the Tomb King City was able to traverse through countless ancient tombs as though they were walking on flat ground, avoiding many dangers. A complete space crystal could only be formed in a complete miniature world. It contained the laws of the world, and was one of the most important treasures for Supreme Being experts to condense a miniature world in their body. The moment Ling Xiao opened his mouth, he asked for 9 complete space crystals. Although it made the Tomb King City feel the pinch, it was not to the extent that they could not afford it. The world-breaking shuttle had exceeded Mu Tianji's expectations. Ling Xiao was not angry as he smiled and said, Tomb King, I think you know better than me what the Heavenly Mandate General Outline means. 9 complete space crystals and the world-breaking shuttle is very fair. If I am more ruthless, even if I add the Divine Tomb Sword, I'm afraid you will still have to give it to me, right? Divine Tomb Sword? You really dare to dream. Mu Tianji's body trembled as he looked at Ling Xiao with a bitter smile. This young man was really familiar with the Tomb King City. The Divine Tomb Sword could be said to be the most precious treasure of the Tomb King City. It was the most precious treasure of the Tomb King City, and was a complete divine tool. However, compared to the Heavenly Mandate General Outline, the divine tool of the Tomb King City was nothing. This was because the complete 9 volumes of Heavenly Mandate was the secret technique that could break the bloodline shackles of the Tomb King City. Only by obtaining the 9 volumes of Heavenly Mandate could one completely break the curse and regain their freedom. For this, the Tomb King City was willing to pay any price. Mu Tianji fell silent for a long time, clearly struggling internally. In the end, he could only laugh bitterly and say, All right, I'll agree to your request. I can give you the world-breaking shuttle, but we only have 7 complete space crystals right now. We can give you 7 first, and the other 2 will be given to you when we get them. 7 crystals it is then. However, you have to give me the 3-headed Hellhound's core, Azura Divine Liquid, 10 swords, Demonic Earth Bear's Bone, Peachwood Sword and the Tiger King's Heavenly Blade. Oh right, I also want the shadowless divine wood. That's all I have. Ling Xiao said with a smile, not at all courteous. You really dare to demand an exorbitant price? Mu Tianji laughed in exasperation. Although these treasures weren't very valuable in his eyes, he was still extremely displeased that they were extorted by Ling Xiao just like that. In the end, he could only pinch his nose and accept it. This is a part of the Heavenly Mandate general outline. I believe that the Tomb King City's reputation will not disappoint me. Come and find me after you get the realm-breaking shuttle and the space crystal. I live in the Heavenly Fragrance House, Ling Xiao said with a smile. Heavenly Fragrance Restaurant? Little friend Ling, when the Saint Ground opens, you should be there as well, right? Mu Tianji smiled. That's right. Ling Xiao nodded. If young friend Ling can obtain the 9th chapter of Heaven's Will in the Saint Ground, I hope you can sell it to me. The price is negotiable then. Mu Tianji smiled faintly. Oh, how can you be so sure that the 9th chapter is here? And even if it is, I'm afraid I might not be able to get it. Ling Xiao looked at Mu Tianji in surprise as he asked. I believe in young friend Ling. When the time comes, my Tomb King City will also send a successor to the Saint Ground. I hope young friend Ling can take care of them. Mu Tianji's eyes flashed with a sharp light as he said with a smile. All right. Seeing that you have so many treasures, I agree. Ling Xiao said with a smile. After agreeing on a time with Mu Tianji, Ling Xiao and the rest left the ancient loft. After obtaining the demonic pill of the Cerberus and the shadowless divine wood, the treasures needed to awaken the dark bloodline were gathered. Moreover, the Cerberus demonic pill was much better than what Ling Xiao had imagined. Ling Xiao even guessed that the siblings could awaken their natal superpower. The divine Azura liquid was given to Cheng Jie. The sacred 10 swords was given to Jian Yuanchen. The demonic earth bear bone was given to Xiong Xiaohe, and the Tiger King heavenly blade was given to Hu Zi. As for the peachwood sword, it was taken away by Taoist Wuliang without hesitation. This was a million-year-old peachwood sword, and it was most suitable for Taoist Wuliang. Although it was only a supreme-grade Dao artifact, it had the potential to become a supreme artifact. As long as Taoist Wuliang nurtured it, it would be able to exert unparalleled power. Thank you, Brother Ling. How many pure yang pills do you need? Just tell me. Jian Yuanchen and Cheng Jie were very grateful, especially Xiong Xiaohe and Hu Zi. They didn't expect that they would also get a share. They were all giggling and holding the treasures in their arms. Do you think I lack those pure yang pills? We are all brothers. There is no need to be so polite. If you don't accept it, I will be angry, Ling Xiao said with a smile. In the end, Jian Yuanchen and Cheng Jie could only accept it with a bitter smile. They also knew that Ling Xiao probably had more pure yang pills than those old monsters. Moreover, Ling Xiao had just extorted 7 complete space crystals and the realm-breaking shuttle from Mu Tianji. They didn't know what kind of treasure the realm-breaking shuttle was, but the space crystal was a necessary item to become a supreme artifact and condense a small world. Its value was immeasurable. Brother Ling, what is the general outline of destiny? After leaving the ancient loft, Jian Yuanchen finally asked the question in his heart. The general outline of destiny is the first of the 9 writings of destiny, and it is also the most important one. Ling Xiao sighed softly and said, You may not have heard of the Tomb King City. This force is not weaker than the martial arts Holy Lands at all. It is even stronger. It is just that the population of the Tomb King City is thin. The core clansmen have been imprisoned by the heavens. Like the Feng Shui family, they can't break through to the supreme artifact realm in their lifetime. Legend has it that the 9 writings of destiny contains the power of destiny. As long as you can get the complete 9 writings of destiny, you can break the bloodline shackles and gain freedom. The Tomb King City makes a living by robbing tombs. For countless years, they have obtained countless treasures from many ancient tombs, but the most important thing is to find the 9 writings of destiny. Ling Xiao didn't hide anything and told them about the relationship between the 9 writings of destiny and the Tomb King City. So that's how it is. They already have the power of a supreme artifact without becoming a supreme artifact. If the Tomb King City breaks the bloodline shackles, how terrifying would they be? Jian Yuanchen's eyes revealed a trace of shock. He remembered that in the Heavenly God City, Li Chuanfeng's cultivation was only at the half-step supreme artifact realm, but he had seriously injured Nan Tianjue and blocked the two supreme artifacts, Nan Tianjue and Star Emperor. The people of the Tomb King city were probably just as terrifying. Chapter 588. Jian Yuanchen, Cheng Jie and the rest were curious about Ling Xiao. They had never heard of the secrets of Tomb King city and the 9 scriptures of heaven's mandate. They did not expect Ling Xiao to be so familiar with them. Moreover, he had the general outline of heaven's mandate, which made the people of Tomb King city treat him with respect. The dirty old man in Taiguxian was the Tomb King of Tomb King city. The Tomb King might be a peerless expert who was not weaker than Li Chunfeng. Jian Yuanchen and the rest were in disbelief at the thought that they were talking business with a sovereign expert. After returning to Heavenly Fragrance Inn, Ling Xiao planned to awaken the dark bloodline for Yi Feng and Yi Meng. Heavenly Fragrance Inn was the property of Shura sect. Ling Xiao and the rest were treated with the highest respect in Heavenly Fragrance Inn. In the depths of Heavenly Fragrance Inn, there was a powerful killing array that was filled with sovereign Dao marks. It was an important place in Heavenly Fragrance Inn. Ling Xiao led Yi Feng and Yi Meng into the palace. Yi Feng, Yi Meng, today I will awaken the dark bloodline for you and impart the heavenly book of darkness to you. I hope you can restore the glory of the dark sovereign and live up to the power of your bloodline. Ling Xiao looked at the two of them and said softly, Heavenly book of darkness? Yi Feng and Yi Meng were shocked. They looked at Ling Xiao in disbelief and said, How did you get the heavenly book of darkness? Devouring Heaven Supreme is my master. I have obtained the inheritance of Devouring Heaven Supreme, which naturally includes the heavenly book of darkness. Ling Xiao did not hide it and said with a smile, What? Devouring Heaven Supreme's disciple? This news stunned Yi Feng and Yi Meng. Their eyes were full of shock. Devouring Heaven Supreme was the strongest person in the world 10,000 years ago. Some said that he had ascended to the divine world 10,000 years ago. Some said that Devouring Heaven Supreme had died in the Great Calamity 10,000 years ago. Ling Xiao said that he was Devouring Heaven Supreme's disciple, which made Yi Feng and Yi Meng feel like they were dreaming. I am the holy son of Changsun sect. Devouring Heaven Supreme's spirit has given me his inheritance. Today, you have awakened the dark bloodline and obtained the heavenly book of darkness. Ling Xiao looked at Yi Feng and Yi Meng. Yes. Greetings, Saint. Yi Feng and Yi Meng were pleasantly surprised. The Longevity sect was the sect of the Heaven Devouring Supreme. Naturally, they knew that Ling Xiao was the sect of the Heaven Devouring Supreme. Now that they saw Ling Xiao, they felt as though they had seen a relative. Alright, get up. Guard your minds and sit cross-legged. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. Wang. Ling Xiao directly took out 1,000,000 pure yang pills and set up a super spirit gathering array in the palace. The entire palace was enveloped in pure yang qi. Auspicious qi rose up into the air, and multicolored light filled the air. It looked like a divine realm. Ling Xiao then took out the 3-headed hellhound's beast core, the shadowless divine wood, the yin-yang arcane fruit, and the black golden void vine. The 3-headed hellhound's Yao core was comparable to an autarka's Yao core. It contained the purest law of darkness. The shadowless divine wood, the yin-yang profound fruit, and the void black gold vine were all supreme sacred medicines. Using these natural treasures to awaken the bloodline of darkness in the two youths was something that even the martial Dao Holy Lands might not necessarily be able to do. Ling Xiao planned to not only completely awaken the dark bloodline for them, but also help them break through to the noble plane. Boom. Ling Xiao formed a seal with his hands, and the pure yang qi in the palace surged toward Yi Feng and Yi Meng's limbs. The pure energy constantly washed away the impurities in their bodies and opened up their meridians and acupoints. This was the first step. Using the pure yang qi to refine their bodies, making them infinitely close to the pure yang body. Under the cleansing of the pure yang qi, thick black impurities overflowed from Yi Feng and Yi Meng's bodies. Their skin started to become crystal clear, and their bodies started to emit a clear aura. The yin-yang profound fruit, the black golden void vine, and the shadowless divine wood floated in the void. A golden lotus floated in front of Ling Xiao's chest, and the devouring heaven fire burned fiercely, emitting an extremely powerful force. The devouring heaven fire was now comparable to the legendary heavenly fire. It even had the power to threaten a half-autark. It was only one step away from transforming into the legendary autark's flame. The real autark's flame could even burn a autark into ashes. The three supreme sacred herbs emitted a faint glow. They were instantly swept up by the devouring heaven fire, and then flew into the devouring heaven golden lotus. Ling Zhao's primordial spirit was now extremely powerful. He had already recovered to the level of a supreme alchemy grandmaster. Although it was not as powerful as it was in his previous life, it was still very easy to use the devouring heaven golden lotus to refine sacred herbs. The three supreme sacred herbs instantly melted into a ball of sparkling light. Under the nourishment of the devouring heaven golden lotus, it started to refine the divine substance within. The three supreme sacred herbs, together with the demonic pill of the Cerberus, were all used to strengthen Yi Feng and Yi Meng's bloodline origin. The dark bloodline was just too terrifying. Like Shui Wei's Jiuyou bloodline, it was the top bloodline power in the world. It was comparable to the divine beast bloodline. Yi Feng and Yi Meng's bodies were too weak. Since Ling Xiao had decided to help them break through to the noble plane, their bodies had to be refined, and their life origin had to be greatly strengthened. Just like that, Ling Xiao controlled the pure yang qi to refine their bodies and nourish the essence of the three sacred herbs at the same time. 3 days later, Yi Feng and Yi Meng's bodies began to emit a faint light. They sat cross-legged in the endless pure yang qi. Without Ling Xiao's guidance, they could already absorb the pure yang qi on their own. Ling Xiao knew that this was the sign of the completed acquired treasure body turning into a pure yang body. Fall. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The devouring heaven golden lotus stretched out. A ball of dazzling light split into two and fell towards Yi Feng and Yi Meng. Just how majestic was the energy contained within the three supreme saint medicines. Yi Feng and Yi Meng felt that their bodies were about to explode. Their meridians began to bleed, and they were in extreme pain. However, they remembered Ling Xiao's words. They guarded their minds and did not make a sound, allowing their bodies to absorb the power of the three supreme sacred herbs. Boom! Heaven and earth shook, and the universe rumbled. Golden lightning seemed to shoot out from Ling Xiao's eyes. The demonic pill of the Cerberus flew up into the sky. Ling Xiao pointed his finger. The entire palace seemed to be shrouded in endless darkness. Roar! A ferocious-looking Cerberus struggled and roared. It wanted to break free from the demonic pill, emitting endless ferocity. You've been dead for so many years. Are you still not satisfied? Disperse! Ling Xiao scolded softly. A golden bolt of lightning shot out from his forehead, and the three-headed hellhound instantly exploded, turning into boundless laws of darkness. Chapter 589. Rumble. Like the roar of the heavenly river and the surging of the endless sea, a dark, ancient, mysterious, and majestic power reverberated from Yi Feng and Yi Meng's bodies. At this moment, the two of them seemed to have disappeared into the void as the endless power of darkness spread out. Yi Feng and Yi Meng sat cross-legged in the darkness, and their bodies began to emit a mysterious fluctuation. Their auras became stronger and stronger, as if they were the lords of darkness, controlling endless power. Behind the two of them, two mysterious figures appeared, as if they were about to step out from the endless space-time, and poured endless power of darkness into the two of them. This bloodline of darkness is stronger than I imagined? Since that's the case, I'll take this opportunity to impart the heavenly book of darkness to you. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed, and a black scripture flew out of his primordial spirit. It looked ancient and mysterious. This was the heavenly book of darkness, which was similar to the heavenly scripture of sun and moon. They were both ancient ultimate arts that Ling Xiao had obtained from ancient ruins. With the current strength of Ling Zhao's primordial spirit, it was enough to condense the true meaning of the inheritance, and let Yi Feng and Yi Meng inherit the heavenly book of darkness. Buzz! The heavenly book of darkness instantly rushed into their foreheads, and then turned into a mysterious power of law, which began to flow in their hearts. At the beginning of heaven and earth, the source of darkness, the return of all gods, the origin of all creation, the birth of heaven and earth, the destruction of heaven and earth, Like a great bell, an ancient and mysterious voice exploded in Yi Feng and Yi Meng's foreheads. The two of them fell into a mysterious state of Tao comprehension. I'll bestow all these great divine abilities to you. How much you can comprehend will depend on your luck. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. When he killed Celestial Venerable Nan and the others, he stripped many complete great divine abilities. Ling Xiao selected dozens of great divine abilities of the darkness attribute, and instantly merged them into the siblings' consciousness. This was a supreme fortune, a fortune that could allow one to reach the heavens in a single step. Ling Xiao believed that when the siblings woke up, they would give him a big surprise. Yi Feng and Yi Meng's auras continued to strengthen, and the laws of darkness stabilized. The darkness bloodline in their bodies had already merged with their physical bodies. The most dangerous moment had passed, and Ling Xiao was finally at ease as he prepared to leave the palace. Big brother Ling, you're finally out. Seeing Ling Xiao come out, Xiong Xiaohe and Huzi, who were outside the palace, were pleasantly surprised. What happened? Ling Xiao stared blankly for a moment before slowly asking. Big brother Ling, after you went into seclusion 3 days ago, Taoist Wu Liang, Big brother Jian, and Big brother Cheng also went into seclusion. But Emperor Tomb Mountain's 6th holy son sent a letter of challenge to challenge you. Xiong Xiaohe hurriedly said. That's right. The 6th saint's son said that Yi Futian did not live up to his reputation. He killed South Celestial Venerable and the 3 stars of Star Palace because of Li Chuanfeng's help. He said that he wanted to fight Yi Futian fair and square. But because you were in seclusion, that guy said that you were guilty and slandered you everywhere in Two World City. Huzi also said indignantly. The 6th holy son of Emperor Tomb Mountain? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as a cold smile appeared on his face. In the God Burial Cave, if not for the fact that the 6th saint had the shroud cloth and was able to escape quickly, he would have been killed by Ling Xiao. Since he was so arrogant, did he have something to rely on? Just then, there was a commotion outside the Heaven Fragrance Inn. Big brother Ling, they are here again. For the past 3 days, they have been scolding you outside the Heaven Fragrance Inn. They said that you are a coward and that you were defeated by him. Xiong Xiaohe heard the shouts outside, and there was a hint of anger in his eyes. Let's go and take a look. Ling Xiao said calmly, and there was a hint of coldness in his eyes. The 6th holy son was so arrogant. Did a supreme being come from Emperor Tomb Mountain? Or was there a conspiracy behind the challenge? Ling Xiao had a thought and walked out of the Heaven Fragrance Inn. Huzi, let's go. Haha. Those bastards are going to be unlucky. Even South Celestial Venerable was killed by Big brother Ling. That bullshit 6th holy son must be looking for a beating. Xiong Xiaohe was full of confidence as he pulled Huzi and followed. In Heaven God City, he had seen Ling Xiao kill South Celestial Venerable with his own eyes. What was a mere 6th holy son to him? Outside the Heaven Fragrance Inn, the 6th holy son was tall and handsome. His face was a little pale, and there was a faint sinister aura around him. His eyes were indifferent as he stood proudly. Around him, a group of disciples from Emperor Tomb Mountain were shouting without restraint, their faces full of mockery. Ling Xiao, you coward. Come out and fight me if you dare. Our Lord 6th holy son can kill you in 3 moves. He has been hiding for 3 days. He is really patient. Not to mention the Lord 6th holy son, I can kill him. The disciples of Emperor Tomb Mountain were shouting with disdain. Their eyes were full of arrogance. In their opinion, if it were not for the prohibition of private fights in Two World City, they would have rushed in and dragged Ling Xiao out. Outside the Heaven Fragrance Inn, there were many experts from the human tribe and demon tribe who were watching. They were discussing with different expressions. Ling Xiao is really a troublemaker. Putting aside the fact that he offended Star Palace and Nantian family, how did he offend the bunch of lunatics from Emperor Tomb Mountain? Hee, that's not all. Don't you know that Ling Xiao snatched Lord Hanfeng's slave 3 days ago? Lord Hanfeng is also unhappy with him. Rumor has it that he has inherited the Scarlet Dragon War God. I wonder if it's true. No matter if it's true or not, he is just a rogue cultivator. He doesn't have a strong martial arts sanctuary backing him up. Naturally, he has become a pushover that everyone wants to bully. Most of the people were gloating over Ling Xiao's misfortune. It was obvious that they wanted to see Ling Xiao make a fool of himself. Emperor Tomb Mountain had blocked the entrance of the Heaven Fragrance Inn for 3 days. One of the reasons was to challenge Ling Xiao. Another reason was that Emperor Tomb Mountain was not on good terms with Shilua sect. Hence, they blocked the business of the Heaven Fragrance Inn. Han Feng is here. Someone cried out in surprise. In the distance, Han Feng was wearing crimson armor. His crimson hair danced in the wind. His body was burly and his blood was boiling. He was surrounded by a group of heavenly beast guards, and walked towards the Heaven Fragrance Inn. Han Feng held an octagonal purple golden hammer in his hand, and it gave off a strong murderous aura. It was also a quasi-supreme weapon, and it was extremely terrifying. Brother D, Ling Xiao is still a coward. Is he not willing to come out? Han Feng sneered. Chapter 590. That's right. Brother Han, everyone says that Ling Xiao killed Celestial Venerable Nan, Seven Slaughter, Army Destroyer, and Greed Wolf. It would seem like they were exaggerating. The Sixth Holy Sun smiled faintly. The Sky Demon Palace and the Azura sect were enemies. As the saying goes, the enemy of an enemy is a friend. Thus, the relationship between the Sky Demon Palace and the Emperor Tomb Mountain wasn't bad. Brother D, if Ling Xiao is determined to be a coward, are you really going to keep waiting? Han Feng asked. Oh, what do you think, Brother Han? The Sixth Holy Sun was slightly stunned. He'd heard that Ling Xiao had taken away 2 of Han Feng's slaves 3 days ago. Han Feng was definitely furious with Ling Xiao. Even though private fights are prohibited in Two-Dimension City, it wouldn't be considered a private fight if my slaves were taken away, and I went to capture them. Han Feng spoke faintly with a trace of coldness in his eyes. Brilliant. Brother Han, as long as we can force Ling Xiao out, he'll have no choice but to accept my challenge. The Sixth Holy Sun was overjoyed. Brother D, watch me. Han Feng smiled faintly, and then he ordered the Celestial Demon Guardians behind him. My slave has been stolen. He's in the Heavenly Fragrance Pavilion. Go in and capture him. Yes. The group of ferocious Celestial Demon Guardians roared at the same time. They charged into the Celestial Fragrance restaurant like wolves and tigers. How dare you? This is the Azura sect's base. Han Feng, are you trying to start a war between the Azura sect and the Sky Demon Palace? The manager of the Heaven Fragrance Pavilion was a fat middle-aged man. He seemed very kind and was only at the first rank of the Monarch realm. At this moment, he was so anxious that he broke out in cold sweat, but he could only summon the courage to shout. Start a war between the Azura sect and the Sky Demon Palace? You're not worthy. Your Heaven Fragrance Pavilion is harboring a felon and taking away my slaves. I'm going to tear down your Heaven Fragrance Pavilion today. Han Feng laughed coldly. His large eyes were like a lion's, and they were filled with an icy red color. Stop. Right at this moment, an indifferent voice resounded. Ling Xiao was dressed in white and had a slender figure. He calmly walked out of the Heavenly Fragrance House and appeared in front of the crowd. This is Ling Xiao. He looks like a 16 or 17-year-old youth. He doesn't have 3 heads and 6 arms. How did he kill Celestial Venerable Nan? This was the first time many people had seen Ling Xiao. Seeing such a harmless and delicate young man, they found it hard to believe the rumors they had heard. The Sixth Holy Son of the Emperor Tomb Mountain? I don't understand. You've already escaped from my hands once. Where did you get the confidence to challenge me now? Ling Xiao glanced at the Sixth Holy Sun. Ling Xiao, you're finally willing to come out. Seeing Ling Xiao, the Sixth Saint's eyes turned bloodshot. Back at the God Burial Cave, Ling Xiao was the one who had stolen the remains of the godly spirit. If it weren't for the terrifying sword intent that came from the coffin, and slain the 3 half-martial highnesses of the Monarch Tomb Mountain, and almost destroyed the burial cloth, he did not think Ling Xiao would stand a chance against him. With the shroud, this supreme treasure, he was already in an invincible position. Everyone was stunned when they heard Ling Xiao's words. It seemed that Ling Xiao and the Sixth Holy Sun had fought before, and the Sixth Holy Sun had escaped in the end. How was that possible? If Ling Xiao had defeated the Sixth Holy Sun, why would the Sixth Holy Sun still come to challenge him? He was simply asking for humiliation. The sixth holy son's voice was extremely cold. Ling Xiao, you stole my remains of the godly spirit in the god burial cave, and killed 3 elders of my monarch tomb mountain. Today, I will avenge them. Do you dare to fight with me? Remains of the godly spirit. When the sixth holy son mentioned the remains of the godly spirit, everyone trembled. Their eyes were filled with greed. Even Han Feng's eyes were burning with desire. There were remains of the godly spirit in the god burial cave, but other than the monarch tomb mountain, no one had ever heard of anyone who could obtain the remains of the godly spirit. There might be a peerless martial art or a supreme artifact in the remains of the godly spirit. More importantly, there might be the secret to becoming a godly spirit. When this news spread out, even some supremes wouldn't be able to sit still. Sixth holy son, don't pour dirty water on me. If even you can't take the remains of the godly spirit, do you think I can? The 3 elders of your monarch tomb mountain were killed by the killing intent in the god burial cave. What does that have to do with me? I'm not interested in accepting your challenge. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes were filled with disdain. He naturally wouldn't admit that there was a remains of the godly spirit. There was indeed no remains of the godly spirit in the stone coffin. Otherwise, if he attracted the attention of the Supremes, there would be endless trouble for him. Ling Xiao, no matter what you say, the remains of the godly spirit were snatched by you and killed 3 elders of my monarch tomb mountain. If you have the guts, fight with me. The sixth holy son sneered. I'm sorry, but I'm not interested in fighting with someone who lost to me a second time. Ling Xiao said faintly. The sixth holy son's gaze turned cold and his voice was incomparably cold. Ling Xiao, in the god burial cave, if it wasn't for the strange movement of the stone coffin, you would have died in my hands. Don't try to win a battle of words. Han Feng sneered and said, Ling Xiao, if you keep making excuses, it seems like the so-called genius is nothing more than this. I don't know what methods you used to kill South Celestial Venerable and the 3 stars of Star Palace. He was deliberately provoking Ling Xiao. There was a dual battlefield in Two World City. Both parties had to agree to the duel. If one party didn't agree, the other party wouldn't dare to fight. The rules in Two World City were extremely strict. Even the disciples of Monarch Tomb Mountain and Sky Demon Palace didn't dare to break them easily. Ling Xiao, if you're a man, fight with me. If you can win against me, this spirit-severing sovereign elixir is yours. The sixth holy son gritted his teeth and a black elixir appeared in his hand. It emitted a faint spiritual light and looked extremely mysterious. There was a mysterious power of law intertwining. The rich medicinal fragrance spread out, causing everyone's body to tremble. Their eyes revealed a trace of incomparable shock. The spirit-severing sovereign elixir was an elixir that could increase the power of the primordial spirit. If a 9th-level emperor wanted to break through to half-step to the supreme realm, the primordial spirit was a huge bottleneck. With the spirit-severing sovereign elixir, it could greatly increase the possibility of a 9th-level emperor breaking through to half-step to the supreme realm. The spirit-severing sovereign elixir? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he muttered to himself. The sixth holy son was too strange. He didn't hesitate to take out the spirit-severing sovereign elixir to fight with him. Ling Xiao felt that there was a conspiracy. Could it be that the supreme realm of Monarch Tomb Mountain is behind this? Chapter 591. Ling Xiao was very curious why the sixth holy son insisted on fighting him. He wanted to see what the Emperor Tomb Mountain was plotting. Very good. Ling Xiao, don't worry. I'll definitely treat you well when you're defeated by me. The sixth holy son sneered. Prepare the soul formation supreme pill. It's mine. Ling Xiao smiled faintly in response. Don't try to talk big. Let's meet on the arena. Killing intent flashed through the sixth holy son's eyes. He snorted coldly and left with the disciples of the Emperor Tomb Mountain. Ling Xiao, do you really think you can fight Brother D? You're really courting death. I'd like to see how many moves you can take from Brother D. Han Feng sneered as well. He followed the sixth holy son while being escorted by the celestial demon guards. Big Brother Ling, that sixth holy son is too arrogant. You have to teach him a lesson later. Xiong Xiaohe spoke as if he wanted to see the world plunged into chaos. He was filled with confidence in Ling Xiao. Even if the sixth holy son was a peerless genius of the Emperor Tomb Mountain with a cultivation at the third level of the monarch realm, even the southern celestial venerable had died at Ling Xiao's hands. What was a mere sixth holy son to Ling Xiao? Perhaps only the legendary holy son De was qualified to fight with Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao smiled faintly as a trace of sharpness flashed through his eyes. The arena of Two World City was an ancient stone platform at the center of the city. It was carved with supreme Tao marks and intertwined laws. It was extremely sturdy and radiant. The arena was originally set up to resolve the enmity between the human and demon races. Later on, it gradually evolved into the battlefield of Two World City. Private battles weren't allowed in Two World City, but battles could be carried out on the arena. News of the battle between Ling Xiao and the sixth holy son quickly spread throughout Two World City through word of mouth. Many experts from both the human and demon clans had arrived. Their eyes were filled with anticipation. The Emperor Tomb Mountain was a sacred land of the martial Tao. It was extremely powerful, especially the 9 holy sons of the Emperor Tomb Mountain. Every single one of them was a peerless genius. As for Ling Xiao, he was a peerless genius who had just risen. In Heavenly God City, he had killed South Celestial Venerable, slaughtered 7 kills, Army Destroyer and Voracious Wolf. It was rumored that he had obtained the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God. His name had spread across the entire War God continent. However, Two World City was very far from Heavenly God City. Many people had never seen Ling Xiao before. Most of them were skeptical of the rumors. Thus, everyone had different opinions about who would win this battle. They were all looking forward to it. There were even people who set up bets on the battle stage. Everyone took out pure yang pills to place their bets. Some favored Ling Xiao, while others favored the sixth saint. Big brother Ling, I bet 300,000 pure yang pills. This is all I have. You must win. Xiong Xiaohe said excitedly. Big brother Ling, I bet 1,500,000 pure yang pills. Huzi's words gave Ling Xiao and Xiong Xiaohe a fright. 1,500,000 pure yang dawn. This was Huzi's entire fortune, and he actually threw it all out. What are the odds? Ling Xiao asked. The odds are 1 to 3. If you win, Big Brother Ling, Huzi will have to take back the 4.5 million pure yang pills. Xiong Xiaohe hurriedly said. Big Brother Ling, I believe you will definitely win. Huzi said with a mischievous smile. You guys really believe in me? Since it's like this, I can't let you guys lose so many pure yang pills. Ling Xiao said with a faint smile. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He saw that the disciples of Emperor Tomb Mountain had also set up bets. Ling Xiao's lips curled into a smile as he directly walked over. I want to bet. This is 10 million pure yang pills. A storage ring appeared in Ling Xiao's hand as he looked at the people of Emperor Tomb Mountain and said, What? The disciples of Emperor Tomb Mountain were all stunned. Ling Xiao actually wanted to bet himself. Moreover, it was 10 million pure yang pills. The total amount of pure yang pills they had collected from the gambling house was not even 10 million pure yang pills. If Ling Xiao won, then Emperor Tomb Mountain would have to pay him 30 million pure yang pills. You. Who are you betting on? The disciples of Emperor Tomb Mountain swallowed their saliva and asked. Of course I'm betting on myself. Your Emperor Tomb Mountain must prepare pure yang pills. Otherwise, if you don't give me 30 million pure yang pills later, I will be very unhappy. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Then he turned around and walked onto the battle stage. Ling Xiao is so confident that he can win? The sixth saint is different from South Heavenly Venerable. I heard that the sixth saint has a complete supreme weapon and is already in an invincible position. Where does Ling Xiao's confidence come from? This is really hard to say. Seeing how confident he is, he might also have a powerful trump card. If Ling Xiao also has a supreme weapon, then this battle will be fun. So what if he has a supreme weapon? He is merely in the noble realm. There is a huge gap between him and the sixth saint. He can't unleash the power of a supreme weapon. Ling Xiao is definitely going to lose. Everyone discussed. Some were bewildered while others were gloating. Their faces were full of mockery. The battle stage was managed by the City Lord Manor of the Two World City. The two manor lords of the city Lord Manor were one human and one demon. The sixth saint handed the Soul Formation Supreme Elixir to the people of the city Lord Manor and signed the battle agreement. Then he turned around and jumped onto the battle stage. The battle stage didn't look big from the outside. It was only a few hundred feet in radius. However, it contained a huge space. It was enveloped by supreme Dao marks and array formations. It was extremely sturdy and could withstand a battle between experts below the supreme realm. Ling Xiao, you are definitely going to die in today's battle. Whether it is the god spirit slew or the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God, they will all belong to me. The sixth saint's eyes were blazing. He stood proudly and said coldly to Ling Xiao, "So much nonsense. If you want to fight, then let's fight. Once it's settled, I'm going to go back and cultivate in seclusion." Ling Xiao sneered and said, "You want to die? Then I will fulfill your wish." The sixth saint's eyes flashed as an extremely powerful aura emanated from his body. He was at the third level of the monarch realm. His cultivation was much weaker than South Heavenly Venerable, but there was a deathly and cold aura coming from him. It was as if he came from hell and had been sealed for thousands of years. There was a murderous intent that could turn everything in the world into a land of death. Rumble. Murderous intent flashed through the sixth saint's eyes. He slammed his palm forward, and a vast palm print covered the world like a black divine mountain. It emanated a monstrous aura of death as it pressed down on Ling Xiao. Moreover, divine light shone behind the sixth saint. An extremely terrifying tomb appeared in the void and emanated an aura that could break through the sky. Great! Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely calm as he punched at the sixth saint. Crack! Chapter 592. Ling Xiao's qi and blood were overflowing. This was pure physical strength. Ever since he condensed the heavenly dragon body, his body was like a divine mountain that suppressed the heavens, containing vast and unparalleled power. No matter if it was a myriad of divine abilities or heavenly laws, he could only break them with a single punch. Boom! The fist and palm collided, and the sixth saint's palm instantly exploded. However, a layer of black light appeared on his body, emitting ancient runes. That was the power of the shroud, containing a terrifying supreme divine aura. Ling Xiao's unstoppable punch was directly blocked by the shroud. The shroud of the Emperor Tomb was said to be the shroud of the Divine King. It was soaked in the blood of the Divine King, and was a powerful supreme artifact that almost had the power to kill gods and demons. With the shroud, the sixth saint could be said to be in an invincible position. Crack! The shroud emitted waves of black laws and merged with the great tomb behind the sixth saint, instantly suppressing Ling Xiao. The Emperor Tomb was said to be the tomb of the Supreme Great Emperor, who ruled the heavens and suppressed the chaos. It contained the power to return the heavens and earth to death. The dark aura was actually able to cancel out Ling Xiao's majestic qi and blood. It even had a kind of fluctuation that could corrode Ling Xiao's qi and blood. If an ordinary expert was suppressed by the Great Tomb, they would probably be turned into ashes in an instant. Ling Xiao, today I'll tell you that I'm the peerless genius of the War God continent, and you're just an ant-like trash. The sixth saint roared. His eyes were incomparably cold, and he seemed to be in high spirits. He was wearing the Divine King's shroud and wielding the Supreme Emperor's tomb, and he was pressing down on Ling Xiao. Although he was only a third-level martial emperor, his peerless power made countless half-step martial emperors turn solemn. The sixth saint already had the power to kill a half-step supremes. How could Ling Xiao resist? I knew this kid's reputation was undeserved. So what if his physical body is strong? Could it be that he can withstand a supreme weapon? Han Feng sneered, his eyes full of disdain. Xiong Xiaohe and Hu Zi were also a little nervous. In the duel arena, Ling Xiao seemed to be at a disadvantage. It was obviously not a good sign to be at a disadvantage after just exchanging blows. On the arena, Ling Xiao's expression was still indifferent and calm. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with sharpness in the face of the great tomb that was pressing down on him. He instantly soared up into the sky, his body filled with dragon might and golden light. Like a divine sun, Ling Xiao punched out. The terrifying qi and blood mixed with the heaven-devouring fire burned fiercely in an instant. This was the fist of the great sun. also known as the Heavenly Dragon Divine Fist. It shattered the sun and caused the cosmos to tremble. Blazing flames covered the sky as it slammed into the great necropolis. Crack! The great necropolis, which had originally seemed corporeal, was swept up by the true devouring flame, and the Black Death Chi exploded. Ling Zhao's gaze was extremely sharp. His body shot across the sky like a bolt of lightning, and his fist landed on the sixth saint's chest. Rumble! The God King's shroud appeared, and countless runes intertwined. The might of a supreme being erupted. Although it managed to block the power of Ling Zhao's punch in the end, the sixth saint child was still sent flying several zhang away. You deserve to die. The sixth saint child flew into a rage out of humiliation. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Even with the God King's shroud, he was still sent flying by Ling Zhao's punch. Even the sixth saint was a little shocked by the energy fluctuations coming from the terrifying fist aura. Ling Zhao was indeed as the rumors said. He had a terrifying physical strength, just like an ancient divine beast that could break through everything with brute force. Buzz! A light flashed in the sixth saint child's hand, and a black coffin floated in front of him. The lid of the coffin was instantly opened, and Black Death Chi spread out. Resplendent light flickered, and a 20 zhang tall burly man with a jade-like body walked out. This was the jade corpse of the Emperor Tomb Mountain. Its entire body was flowing with brilliant light, and it was flawless. It was dazzling and contained a terrifying power. The Jade Corpse was an existence that was second only to the Sky Corpse. It had boundless strength and was invulnerable. Moreover, it could fly and burrow into the ground. It was extremely powerful. The most powerful technique of the Emperor Tomb Mountain was the corpse controlling technique. The sixth saint child knew that he was no match for Ling Zhao, so he decisively summoned the Jade Corpse. This Jade Corpse was the strongest trump card of the sixth saint child. It had killed many half-step Supreme Being experts for him in the past. It was extremely ferocious. Aside from the lack of intelligence, the Jade Corpse had a powerful combat talent. It was not afraid of death, and its physical body was extremely powerful. It was comparable to a quasi-Supreme Being weapon. Ordinary half-step Supreme Beings could not harm the Jade Corpse. As such, the Jade Corpse could easily defeat 2 or 3 half-martial highnesses at the same time. Jade Corpse, I never thought that the sixth saint child would have a Jade Corpse. This time Ling Zhao is dead for sure. That's right. The Jade Corpse is incomparably precious. Legend has it that it was refined from the corpse of a fallen Supreme Being. Even with the secret technique of the Emperor Tomb Mountain, it would still take a few thousand years to refine it. Each Jade Corpse is a supreme treasure of the Emperor Tomb Mountain. With this Jade Corpse, it would be easy to kill a half-step Supreme Being. Ling Zhao has kicked an iron plate this time. His physical body is strong, but could it be stronger than the Jade Corpse? Everyone's eyes were filled with astonishment. They were afraid that Ling Zhao would lose for sure. Roar! The Jade Corpse appeared between the heavens and earth. It let out a loud roar that shook the heavens. Immediately, the wind and clouds changed color. Dark clouds covered the entire area. A faint murderous aura and killing intent shrouded the entire area. The 2-foot-tall Jade Corpse suddenly stared at Ling Zhao. Its eyes were filled with a dense blood-red color. A ferocious aura shrouded Ling Zhao. With a flash of light, the Jade Corpse disappeared in front of Ling Zhao. A Jade Corpse that can fly through the sky and travel through the earth? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed sharply. He did not hesitate to use the greater teleportation technique, and teleported himself a few dozen feet away. Boom! As expected, the Jade Corpse appeared where Ling Zhao was originally standing. It threw out a punch. The void trembled and rippled. Roar! The Jade Corpse let out a loud roar. Its murderous aura locked onto Ling Zhao as it threw out another punch. The jade-colored fist contained an incomparably terrifying power, as if it wanted to tear everything into pieces. I'd like to see how strong the legendary Jade Corpse is. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a strong fighting intent. The Jade Corpse finally made him feel threatened. At the same time, it also stimulated the fighting intent in his heart. Ever since the Heavenly Dragon body was completed, Ling Zhao's physical strength could be said to be invincible among those of the same level. There was almost no one below the Supreme Being level who could surpass Ling Xiao in terms of physical strength. The legendary Jade Corpse was as tough as diamond. It was comparable to a powerful quasi-Supreme Being weapon. Ling Xiao did not dodge. He also threw out a punch at the Jade Corpse. Crack! Golden lightning shot out from the fist. The void trembled. The golden fist collided with the Jade Corpse's fist. Boundless divine light exploded. Instantly, the heavens and earth began to rumble. Chapter 593. When Ling Xiao and the Jade Corpse clashed, the void rumbled and ripples spread out. The terrifying force swept out in all directions, as if it was going to shatter the void. Swoosh! Ling Xiao and the Jade Corpse retreated at the same time. Fierce indeed. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. The Jade Corpse's physical body was extremely powerful. It had been refined to the point where it was comparable to a quasi-supreme weapon. Its defensive power was extremely strong. Its body was covered in a layer of jade-colored radiance, emitting mysterious supreme Tao marks. Roar! The Jade Corpse roared as its eyes were filled with blood. Although it didn't have spiritual intelligence, it had extremely powerful battle instincts. It immediately pounced towards Ling Xiao. Boom! The Jade Corpse was extremely fast. It threw a punch towards Ling Xiao's head. At the same time, it spat out a black divine light from its mouth. It contained a deathly power, and was as fast as lightning. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with intense battle intent. He also wanted to see where the limits of his physical body were. Boom! A vast dragon aura spread out. Ling Xiao's body shone with golden light. Golden dragon scales appeared on the surface of his body. Each of the dragon scales was extremely mysterious. They were like ancient runes, emitting extreme physical strength. Ling Xiao stepped out and used the greater teleportation ability. It was as if he was moving freely in the starry world. He instantly dodged the black divine light and appeared behind the Jade Corpse. He threw a punch at its back. Crack! It was like a golden dragon had crashed into the ground. The Jade Corpse staggered, and the runes behind it exploded. The rebounding force pushed Ling Xiao back. But when the Jade Corpse staggered, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with a sharp light. He burst out with the violent dragon divine ability. His body became incomparably violent, and instantly burst out with 16 times his combat strength. Clang! Ling Xiao's body shone with golden light. His black hair fluttered in the wind. He was like a young war god as he fought intensely with the Jade Corpse in the void. In an instant, they had exchanged hundreds of punches. Heaven and earth rumbled. The entire duel stage began to emit dazzling radiance. The supreme Tao marks were pushed to the extreme. It was as if the duel stage would explode in the next moment. Ling Xiao actually has such terrifying combat strength? Han Feng shuddered, his eyes filled with disbelief. He was still doubtful about the previous rumors. However, when he saw the intense fight between Ling Xiao and the Jade Corpse, he believed that Ling Xiao really had the power to defeat South Celestial Venerable and kill the 3 stars of Star Palace. The Emperor Tomb Mountain was an extremely special martial Tao holy land. Although cultivation and battle strength were equally important, their most powerful technique was still the method of sacrificing zombies. For example, the 6th saint might not be as strong as South Heavenly Venerable, but his invincible Jade Corpse was strong enough to kill half-step supremes. Even South Heavenly Venerable would pale in comparison. But now Ling Xiao was able to fight the invincible Jade Corpse to a standstill. Didn't this mean that Ling Xiao already had the battle prowess of a half-step supreme? Rumble! The 6th saint floated in the air with runes all over his body. His eyes were extremely cold. Under his control, the invincible Jade Corpse exploded with peerless ferocity and clashed with Ling Xiao continuously. Although Ling Xiao had already activated the body of the Heavenly Dragon and the violent dragon divine ability to the extreme, he still couldn't defeat the invincible Jade Corpse. If my cultivation breaks through to the Monarch realm and forms the divine ability Dharma form, the body of the Heavenly Dragon will be complete. By then, I'll be able to kill this Jade Corpse with a single punch. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of understanding. It was mainly because his current cultivation was still insufficient. After all, there was a huge difference between the 9th level of the Noble Realm and the Monarch Realm. The noble realm formed various divine abilities and comprehended the laws of heaven and earth. The monarch realm used these divine abilities and merged them with their martial Tao origin to form the divine ability Dharma form and possess even more terrifying power. It was like the difference between a handful of sand and a rock. No matter how many divine abilities a noble realm cultivator formed, they were only individual grains of sand. It was far from the power of a monarch realm cultivator, who merged the divine abilities into a rock. However, the noble realm was the foundation. The more divine abilities one cultivated, the more terrifying the combat strength of a monarch realm cultivator would naturally be. Moreover, Ling Xiao noticed the sixth Holy Sun's ability to control the Jade Corpse during the battle. It was none other than the suppression of the soul core. It could be said that the sixth Holy Sun's soul core was wearing the outer shell of the Jade Corpse and fighting Ling Xiao. So, if Ling Xiao wanted to destroy the Jade Corpse, then he had to destroy the sixth Holy Sun's soul core. Heavenly Jade Corpse flame, incinerate the heavens and the earth. The sixth Holy Sun grunted coldly, and he was slightly anxious in his heart. Ling Xiao's combat strength was actually more terrifying than he'd imagined. And even the invincible Jade Corpse wasn't able to gain the slightest advantage. Bang! As the sixth Holy Sun shouted loudly, the flames around the Jade Corpse rose, and were suffused with a layer of white flames. It was like the flames of bones, and it emanated a force capable of incinerating the soul. The Jade Corpse charged towards Ling Xiao while the heavenly Jade Corpse flame around it rose, and it pounced towards Ling Xiao along with his attacks. An ordinary person would probably be unable to resist a few punches. Heavenly Jade Corpse flame? That's all there is to it. A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, and the heaven-devouring flame rose instantly, like golden lotuses floating around him. There seemed to be a black divine light flickering in Ling Xiao's eyes. He struck out with his palm, and the mysterious power of runes shot out from his palm. A black soul-extinguishing needle flew across the sky, exuding a force capable of destroying everything. Great soul-extinguishing art. Soul-extinguishing needle. With Ling Xiao's current strength, the combination of the great soul-extinguishing art and the soul-extinguishing needle's power was something that even the Jade Corpse didn't expect. The soul-extinguishing needle instantly pierced through its forehead. Break! Ling Xiao wanted to end the battle as soon as possible, so he took a punch from the Jade Corpse. At the same time, he struck the Jade Corpse's forehead with his palm, sending the soul-extinguishing needle into the Jade Corpse's mind. This was because Ling Xiao knew that the Jade Corpse's mind was the core of the sixth Holy Sun's control over the Jade Corpse. Crack! Black lightning crisscrossed, and the destructive force of the great soul-extinguishing art exploded. It seemed to have set off a destructive storm in the Jade Corpse's mind, and it instantly broke apart a trace of the soul core in the Jade Corpse's mind. Ah! The sixth Holy Sun screamed and spat out a mouthful of blood. His face turned pale. Although the destruction of a trace of the soul core in the Jade Corpse's mind wasn't enough to cause the sixth Holy Sun to lose control of the Jade Corpse, he still suffered a considerable backlash. Ling Xiao, you deserve to die. The sixth Holy Sun roared, and his eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. Boom! A mysterious, majestic, and terrifying aura rose from the Jade Corpse's mind, and it instantly suppressed the power of the great soul-extinguishing art. It was an old figure in a black robe, and his eyes were indifferent. He stood in the chaos like a god overlooking all living beings. Chapter 594. Sovereign. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He immediately sensed that the old figure was the spirit clone left in the Jade Corpse by the Sovereign. Moreover, the aura was exactly the same as the sixth Holy Sun's, the Sovereign of the Emperor Tomb Mountain. No wonder the sixth Holy Sun insisted on challenging Ling Xiao. So this was the real scheme? He wanted to use the Sovereign's primordial spirit to seize Ling Xiao. He didn't expect that even the Sovereign would be interested in him. However, it's a pity that you have the wrong idea. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent. He didn't stop the Sovereign's primordial spirit from entering his sea of consciousness. Wordless heavenly book, suppress it. As soon as the old primordial spirit appeared in Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness, he immediately activated the wordless heavenly book. Rumble. The wordless heavenly book emitted rays of divine light. It was ancient and mysterious. In an instant, it enveloped the old sovereign's primordial spirit. What? The old primordial spirit entered Ling Xiao's sea of consciousness. Before he could react, he saw the ancient and vast wordless heavenly book pressing down on him. He was shocked. Ling Xiao, you have indeed obtained the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God. This heavenly book, is definitely a supreme divine weapon. The old primordial spirit trembled. His eyes were filled with excitement. Whether it is the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God or not, you are dead meat. I didn't expect that the sovereign of the Emperor Tomb Mountain would hide in the jade corpse to plot against me. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with killing intent as he said indifferently. At the same time, he was extremely vigilant. Since the sovereign of the Emperor Tomb Mountain had taken a fancy to him, there might be other sovereigns who had their eyes on him. There was a sense of urgency in his heart. He desperately wanted to increase his strength. Even if Ling Xiao used all his means, he wouldn't be able to defeat a real sovereign. He knew that it would be difficult to even escape. Rumble. The power of the wordless heavenly book was vast, ancient, and majestic. Divine chains of order instantly wrapped around the ancient primordial spirit, suppressing it within the wordless heavenly book. The old soul's eyes trembled, and his heart burned with passion. He looked at Ling Xiao and said, Ling Xiao, I'm Grand Elder Di Lin of the Emperor Tomb Mountain. As long as you're willing to give me the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God, you'll be the holy son of the Emperor Tomb Mountain. In the future, I'll definitely help you reach the supreme realm. Holy son of Emperor Tomb Mountain? This young master doesn't care. Ling Xiao let out a cold laugh. He wasn't moved at all. He immediately activated the power of the wordless heavenly book, about to refine this strand of Di Lin's primordial spirit. Ling Xiao, don't refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. Otherwise, when this old man discovers that this strand of origin spirit has been destroyed, you'll definitely die. Dai saw that Ling Xiao's attitude was very resolute. Since the temptation had failed, he began to threaten him. Die. Killing intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He instantly activated the power of the wordless heavenly book, completely obliterating Dailin's primal spirit. Rumble. Ling Xiao's fist shot out like a dragon, sending the jade corpse flying. He then appeared in front of the sixth holy sun, one hand gripping his throat. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. You've lost, Ling Xiao said calmly, his voice echoing throughout the entire dueling arena. How is this possible? The sixth holy sun's eyes widened. His eyes were filled with disbelief. The jade corpse clearly contained Dailin's primordial spirit, but Ling Xiao was completely fine? Did Ling Xiao's primordial spirit have a primordial spirit defensive treasure? Or did he really possess the legendary legacy of the Scarlet Dragon War God? The sixth holy sun was stunned for a moment. He actually forgot to attack Ling Xiao. Sixth, come back first. Ling Xiao isn't simple. He has a huge secret. An ancient voice rang out in the sixth holy sun's mind. He originally wanted to activate the God King's shroud to continue his battle with Ling Xiao, but after hearing Dailin's voice, he reluctantly stopped. Moreover, he also knew that even the jade corpse was unable to do anything to Ling Xiao. He had truly lost this battle. Ling Xiao, you've won. But just you wait. Sooner or later, you'll die in my hands. The sixth holy sun said coldly as he looked at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao sneered. He didn't even respond to him as he turned and left the dueling arena. Ling Xiao actually won? Outside the dueling arena, everyone was stunned. They couldn't believe their eyes. Not only did the sixth holy sun have the God King's shroud, but he also had the supreme jade corpse. Yet he still couldn't do anything to Ling Xiao and could only admit defeat in the end. This battle completely shattered everyone's doubts about Ling Xiao. No one doubted that Ling Xiao didn't have the ability to kill South Celestial Venerable. Ling Xiao's demonic demeanor was forever imprinted in everyone's hearts. How can this brat have such terrifying combat strength? Han Feng's eyes were filled with unwillingness. He was also very unhappy with Ling Xiao. He originally hoped that the sixth holy sun could teach Ling Xiao a lesson, but he didn't expect such an outcome. Looks like I can only wait for eldest senior brother to make a move. When the holy ground opens, eldest senior brother will definitely come. At that time, I'll definitely kill this brat. Han Feng's eyes revealed a hidden killing intent. Ah, I knew it. Brother Ling will definitely win. Brother Ling is mighty. Emperor Tomb Mountain, Star Palace, Nantian family, they're all trash. They can't even compare to Brother Ling. Wu Zi and Xiong Xiaohe were two idiots. They didn't know what it meant to offend people. Once they spoke, they offended a large group of people, causing many people to glare at them angrily. However, no one attacked them. Instead, it made the two of them even more proud. Give it to me. Quickly give me my pure yang pills. Xiong Xiaohe and Hu Zi's eyes lit up. They seemed to have thought of something and ran to the Emperor Tomb Mountain to ask for pure yang pills. The disciples of Emperor Tomb Mountain looked as though their parents had died. Their faces were extremely ugly. Xiong Xiaohe bet 300,000 pure yang pills, and Hu Zi bet 1,500,000 pure yang pills. In the end, Ling Xiao won, and they had to pay 3 times the amount. This wasn't the most important thing. The most important thing was that Ling Xiao had bet 10 million pure yang pills. 10 million pure yang pills. Many half-step sovereigns might not even have such a price. The people of Emperor Tomb Mountain almost wanted to hang themselves. Especially when they saw Ling Xiao walking over with a smile, they wanted to cry but had no tears. In the end, not only were the spirit-severing supreme pills given to Ling Xiao, the sixth holy son and many disciples of Emperor Tomb Mountain almost took out their underwear. They also took out a large amount of pure yang pills from the two world cities Emperor Tomb Mountain. Only then did they gather 30 million pure yang pills and give it to Ling Xiao. Chapter 595. 30 million pure yang pills might not be enough. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of helplessness. He wanted to walk on a path that had never been seen before in history, to condense an earth-shattering Dharma with 108 supreme divine abilities. However, if he really did cultivate 108 supreme divine abilities, Ling Xiao's accumulation would be so deep that it could be said to be unprecedented. It would be extremely difficult for him to condense the Dharma and break through to the monarch realm. Although 30 million pure yang pills was a great fortune, in Ling Xiao's opinion, it was still not enough for him to break through to the monarch realm. The peerless geniuses of the holy lands of martial arts did not cultivate more supreme divine abilities. Firstly, the cultivation of supreme divine abilities was too slow, and with their physiques, they were not as freakish as Ling Xiao's. If they really exceeded the limits of their physiques, they might be stuck at the noble realm for the rest of their lives, unable to break through. Ling Xiao secretly guessed that if he really did possess 108 supreme divine abilities, it would definitely cause a change in the heavens and earth when he broke through to the monarch realm. 108 was the number of complete cycles, but the heavenly Tao was flawed, so the mortal Tao could not be complete either. Ling Xiao's actions were heaven-defying, and he might even trigger the heavenly lightning tribulation when he was still in the monarch realm. Ling Xiao pondered as he walked towards the heavenly fragrance inn with Xiong Xiaohe and Hu Zi. After leaving the arena, when Ling Xiao walked to the street where the heavenly fragrance inn was located, he suddenly realized that there was not a single person on the street. The heavens and earth had turned dark, and an icy killing intent had locked onto him. So he still has a backup plan? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and a sense of danger arose in his heart. He knew that the Sixth Chosen's challenge was not that simple. Not only did Di Lin's primordial spirit want to ambush him, but he had also set up a killing formation here. Swoosh! The void rippled like water, and a black sword light descended from the 9 heavens. Without a sound or presence, it instantly split into billions of rays, each containing an incomparably terrifying supreme aura. It was as if Mount Tai was crashing down, and it wanted to crush everything into dust. Don't resist. Ling Xiao hurriedly said to Xiong Xiaohe and Hu Zi, and directly stored the two of them into the divine stone. Rumble. Ling Xiao's body was surrounded by dazzling divine light, and golden rays filled the air. A light flashed in his hand, and a dazzling ancient sword appeared, emitting a power that caused the heavens and earth to tremble. 5 Elemental Heaven Sealing Technique. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed sharply, and the heaven-devouring sword in his hand stabbed out. The peerless sharpness exploded, and the void seemed to directly explode. The heaven-devouring sword shone brightly, and the power of the 5 elements was activated, instantly forming a 5 elements barrier, enveloping him. Rumble! The black sword light fell, containing a killing intent that could destroy everything in its path. Ripples appeared on the 5 elements barrier, and then the dazzling runes exploded. The supreme power of the 5 elements barrier completely erupted, and the 5 elements barrier instantly exploded. Boom! The vast black sword light enveloped Ling Xiao and tore him into pieces. In the void, a black-robed man appeared, and he looked like a ghost floating in the void, as if he was one with the void, and did not emit any aura at all. Clang! Ling Xiao's figure suddenly appeared behind him, and the heaven-devouring sword streaked across the sky like a silver river, and around it flowed 6 small worlds that gushed with divine light. It was extremely fast. What? The black-robed man was shocked. Obviously, he hadn't expected Ling Xiao to react so quickly. His figure flashed, and he seemed to have instantly vanished into the void. You think you can escape? Killing intent surged in Ling Xiao's eyes. This black-robed man seemed to be only at the 9th level of the monarch realm, but that attack which contained the power to shatter the heavens and the earth would probably be able to instantly annihilate a half-step supreme exalt. The heaven-devouring sword trembled slightly, and it flowed with gorgeous divine light as it directly tore through the void and slashed down. Pooh! A bloody glow suffused the air as the black-robed man was directly slashed into 2 by Ling Xiao's sword. And then he was stirred up by the turbulence in the void and instantly transformed into nothingness. The black-robed man was extremely decisive. Seeing that there was no way to escape, he actually exploded his primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's plan of devouring his primordial spirit and interrogating the black-robed man had failed. Crack! The gloomy world around them shattered like a mirror. Ling Xiao appeared on the bustling street again. There were people coming and going around him, as if they did not notice that an earth-shattering assassination had just taken place here. Self-created space, luring me into a trap. What a good move! I just don't know if it was an assassin from the Netherworld Pavilion, or the Heavenly Court Pavilion. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed an incomparably cold murderous intent. Previously, there was a rumor that Star Palace and Nantian family had hired assassins from the Netherworld Pavilion and the Heavenly Court Pavilion to assassinate Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao did not expect the assassins from the 2 pavilions to be so arrogant that they would carry out an assassination in 2 World City. Star Palace and Nantian family. Could it be that they have joined forces with Emperor Tomb Mountain? Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely cold, and he was filled with a killing intent. He did not believe that it was a coincidence that the assassins had ambushed Ling Xiao on his way back to Heaven Fragrance Tower after the 6th Holy Sun had just finished his challenge. If it was not a coincidence, it would mean that the few martial arts sanctuaries had joined forces. Since you want to play, I shall play with you this time. Coincidentally, I am still lacking a lot of supreme magic powers. I shall let you become my resources to reach Emperor Realm. There was a flash of killing intent in Ling Xiao's eyes. Then he became extremely calm and walked towards Heaven Fragrance Tower slowly. When he returned to Heaven Fragrance Tower, Ling Xiao released Xiong Xiaohe and Huzi from the Heaven Divine Stone. Brother Ling, are you okay? Huzi asked worriedly. I am fine. I have already killed the person who took action. Ling Xiao said faintly. Xiong Xiaohe said worriedly. Brother Ling, was that the hell space earlier? Did the assassins from Underworld Pavilion take action? They won't give up so easily. Next time, they'll probably send an even stronger assassin. Ling Xiao said faintly. Underworld Pavilion? If one comes, I will kill one. If 2 come, I will kill a pair. Sooner or later, I will raise the 2 assassin organizations to the ground. After that, Ling Xiao stayed in Heaven Fragrance Tower to temper his cultivation, and he didn't leave. In next to no time, Jian Yuanchen and Cheng Jia emerged from their closed-door cultivation. After they obtained the Skyheart 10 swords and Azura Divine Liquid, the 2 of them had condensed their divine abilities in one go, and they'd stepped foot into the 1st level of the Monarch Realm. The divine abilities condensed in the Monarch Realm were divided into the Yellow Grade, Profound Grade, Earth Grade, Heaven Grade, and God Grade. Both Jian Yuanqin and Cheng Jia had condensed their divine abilities at the heaven grade, and they were amongst the top ranks in the entire God of War continent. On the other hand, divine abilities could only be chanced upon by luck, and anyone who could condense a divine ability at the God of War continent was a peerless genius that was rarely seen in 10,000 years. Divine abilities represented the combination of a cultivator's comprehension of the laws of the heaven and earth, and the quintessence of the cultivator's martial Tao. Naturally, the stronger the divine ability, the greater its potential. For example, divine abilities at the heaven grade had a very high chance of attaining the exalt realm in the future. Chapter 596. 30 million pure yang pills might still not be enough. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of helplessness. He wanted to walk the path of the pinnacle that had never been done before. He wanted to use the 108 supreme techniques to create an earth-shattering dharma. However, if he really did cultivate 108 supreme divine abilities, then Ling Zhao's accumulation would be so deep that it could be said to be unprecedented. So it would definitely be extremely difficult for him to condense a divine ability Dharma idol and break through to the monarch realm. Even though 30 million pure yang pills was a huge amount of wealth, as far as Ling Zhao was concerned, it was still slightly insufficient for him to break through to the monarch realm. The peerless geniuses of the hallowed grounds of the martial Tao didn't cultivate even more supreme divine abilities. Firstly, the cultivation of supreme divine abilities was too slow. Moreover, their physiques weren't as abnormal as Ling Zhao's. If they really surpassed the limits of their physiques, then perhaps they would be forever stuck at the royal realm, and be unable to break through. Ling Zhao had some guesses in his heart. If he really possessed 108 supreme divine abilities, then it would definitely cause an upheaval in the world when he broke through to the monarch realm. 108 was the number of perfection in Zhou Tian, but the heaven Tao was incomplete, so it was naturally impossible for the human Tao to be perfect as well. Ling Zhao's actions were heaven-defying, and he might even cause tribulation lightning to descend upon him at the monarch realm. Ling Zhao pondered as he walked towards the Heaven Fragrance Pavilion with Xiong Xiaohe and Hu Zi. After they left the arena, Ling Zhao suddenly noticed that there wasn't a single person on the street when he arrived at the Heaven Fragrance Pavilion. The heavens and the earth had become dim, and an icy cold killing intent had locked onto him. So he had a backup plan? A bright light flashed through Ling Zhao's eyes as a feeling of danger arose in his heart. He knew that the Sixth Holy Sun's challenge to him wasn't that simple. Not only was Di Lin's soul core trying to plot against him, he'd even set up a slaughter formation here. Swoosh! Space rippled apart like water as a black ray of light descended from the heavens. It soundlessly split into a myriad of rays, and they contained an extremely terrifying exalted might. It was like Mount Tai was crashing down, and it intended to crush everything into powder. Don't resist. Ling Zhao hurriedly spoke to Xiong Xiaohe and Hu Zi, and then he sent them into the Empyrean Stone. Rumble. Ling Zhao was surrounded by dazzling divine light and golden clouds. With a flash of light in his hand, a dazzling ancient sword appeared, exuding a power that made the world tremble. 5 elements heaven-sealing style. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with sharpness as he thrust out the sky-devouring sword in his hand. That peerless sharpness burst forth, as though the void was about to explode. The sky-devouring sword shone brightly as the power of the 5 elements was activated. In an instant, it turned into a 5 elements enchantment, enveloping him. Rumble. When those black sword rays fell, they contained a killing intent that could destroy everything. Ripples appeared on the 5 elements enchantment barrier. Then the resplendent runes exploded. The 5 elements enchantment barrier exploded in an instant with the eruption of the supreme divine power. Boom! The vast black sword light shrouded Ling Zhao and tore him into pieces. Above the void, a man in black appeared. He looked like a ghost floating in the void, as if he had become one with the void. He did not emit any aura at all. Clang! Ling Zhao's figure suddenly appeared behind him. The sky-devouring sword was like a silver river that streaked across the sky. It was surrounded by 6 small worlds that gushed with divine light. It was extremely fast. What? The black-clothed man was shocked. Clearly he did not expect Ling Zhao to react so quickly. his figure flashed, and he instantly seemed to have hidden in the void. Do you think you can leave? Ling Xiao's eyes were surging with killing intent. The black-clothed man seemed to only be a 9th-level ruler, but the attack that he had accumulated could cause the world to collapse. Even a half-step supreme being would be instantly killed. The sky-devouring sword trembled slightly. It flowed with a gorgeous divine light as it directly broke through the void and slashed down. Puff! Blood filled the air. The black-clothed man was directly cut in half by Ling Xiao's sword. He was stirred up by the turbulence in the void and instantly turned into nothingness. The black-clothed man was extremely decisive. When he saw that there was no way to escape, he directly self-destructed his primordial spirit. Ling Xiao's plan to devour his primordial spirit and interrogate the black-clothed man failed. Crack! The surrounding gloomy heaven and earth shattered like a mirror. Ling Xiao appeared on the bustling street again. There were people coming and going around, as if they did not notice that an earth-shattering assassination had just taken place here, creating a space of its own and luring me into a trap. What a great tactic! I just don't know if it's an assassin from Underworld Pavilion or Heavenly Court Pavilion. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed an extremely cold killing intent. Previously, there was a rumor that Star Palace and Nantian clan had hired assassins from Underworld Pavilion and Heavenly Court Pavilion to assassinate Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao also did not expect the assassins from the two pavilions to be so arrogant as to carry out an assassination in Two World City. Star Palace, Nantian clan, could it be that they have already joined forces with Emperor Tomb Mountain? Ling Xiao's eyes were extremely cold, and they completely gave birth to a killing intent. He did not believe that it was a coincidence that the assassins ambushed Ling Xiao on his way back to Heaven Fragrance Restaurant just after the 6th Holy Sun had finished his challenge. If it wasn't a coincidence, it meant that the few martial arts holy lands had already joined forces. Since you guys want to play, then I'll play with you guys. It just so happens that I still lack a lot of supreme divine powers. I'll let you guys become resources for me to step into the Emperor realm. Killing intent flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes, then it became extremely calm as he slowly walked towards Heaven Fragrance Restaurant. Back at Heaven Fragrance Restaurant, Ling Xiao released Xiong Xiaohe and Hu Zi from the God Stone. Brother Ling, are you alright? Hu Zi hurriedly asked worriedly. I'm fine. I've already killed the person who attacked. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Xiong Xiaohe said worriedly. Brother Ling, was that the space of hell just now? It was the assassins from Underworld Pavilion, right? They won't let it go so easily. Next time, they'll probably send even stronger assassins. Ling Xiao said indifferently. Underworld Pavilion? If one comes, I'll kill one. If two come, I'll kill two. Sooner or later, I'll raise these two assassin organizations to the ground. After that, Ling Xiao stayed in Heaven Fragrance Restaurant to temper his cultivation, and didn't leave. It didn't take long for Jian Yuanchen and Cheng Jia to emerge from their closed-door cultivation. After they obtained the Skyheart 10 swords and Divine Azura elixir, they'd condensed divine ability images and stepped into the first level of the Monarch realm. The divine ability images condensed at the Monarch realm were divided into the Yellow grade, Profound grade, Earth grade, Heaven grade and God grade. Both Jian Yuanchen and Cheng Jia had condensed Heaven grade divine ability images, and they were at the highest level on War God Continent. On the other hand, God grade divine ability images could only be chanced upon by luck. Anyone who had condensed a God grade divine ability image was a peerless genius that was rarely seen in 10,000 years on War God Continent. A divine ability image represented the fusion of the laws of the heavens and earth, and the quintessence of the martial Tao. Naturally, the stronger the divine ability image, the greater the potential. Just like Heaven-grade divine ability images, it was very likely that one would be able to attain the Exalt realm in the future. Chapter 597. Taoist Wuliang had also refined the peachwood sword and nurtured it in his sea of consciousness. As Taoist Wuliang's cultivation grew stronger, the peachwood sword would also erupt with more terrifying power. When they heard about the battle between Ling Xiao and the Sixth Saint, they were very upset that they did not witness the battle with their own eyes. When they heard that Ling Xiao had been assassinated by the Netherworld Pavilion's assassins, They were extremely furious. Brother Ling, those lunatics from the Netherworld Pavilion actually dared to make a move in Two World City. It means that they really have no scruples. You must be careful. Jian Yuanshan said worriedly. The reason why the Netherworld Pavilion was so unscrupulous was that it was rumored that Ling Xiao had the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God. Moreover, he was a rogue cultivator. As the saying goes, a man's wealth is his own ruin. If Ling Xiao was a disciple of a martial arts holy land, the Netherworld Pavilion would not dare to be so rampant even if they wanted to make a move. Brother Ling, the eldest senior brother of the Azura sect, will also come for the opening of the Holy Ground this time. At that time you can directly join the Azura sect. Qingjie also hurriedly said. He also understood that Ling Xiao had made many enemies now, and was in a very dangerous situation. You don't have to worry. Now on the War God continent, supreme martial artists will not act rashly. Many supreme martial artists are training in the outer world. As for those below the supreme martial artist realm who dares to court death, I will grant their wish. Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with killing intent as he spoke slowly. That's right. Ling Xiao, what's there to be afraid of? Those shameless things, are they allowed to bully others and not allow others to resist? Just nice in the holy ground, let's make a big move and catch them all in one fell swoop. Taoist Wuliang rolled his eyes and said with a chuckle. Ling Xiao also smiled faintly, and there was a trace of sharpness in his eyes. Taoist Wuliang had the same idea as him. Boom. At this moment, in the depths of the heavenly fragrance house, the palace where Yi Feng and Yi Meng were in seclusion suddenly emitted a majestic aura. Yi Feng and Yi Meng are coming out of seclusion? Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of surprise, and he hurriedly rushed over. In the palace, a dark, ancient and mysterious aura spread out. The surrounding void was filled with darkness as if it had turned into an eternal world of darkness. When Ling Xiao pushed open the door of the palace, he saw Yi Feng and Yi Meng walk out from the darkness. They wore black robes and their eyes shone with a cold light. Their cultivations had reached the peak of LV9 Noble Realm. This is the legendary Dark Bloodline? It's really terrifying. Jian Yuanshan and Qingjie were shocked. Their eyes were full of shock. Yi Feng was only in the celestial realm before, and Yi Meng was an ordinary person without any cultivation. However, under Ling Xiao's guidance, after the Dark Bloodline was awakened, they actually broke through to the 9th level of the Noble Realm. This kind of terrifying speed of improvement left everyone dumbfounded. However, Ling Xiao was not surprised at all. The 3 supreme divine medicines, the demonic pearl of the Cerberus, the million pure Yangdan, and the abhijina that Ling Xiao stripped away. If all of this couldn't create 2 cultivators of the noble plane, then it would be a failure. Ling Xiao could feel that Yi Feng and Yi Meng seemed to have left this void. As long as there was darkness and shadows, their auras would be everywhere. Swoosh. Yi Feng and Yi Meng disappeared in front of everyone in an instant. The next moment, they appeared behind Xiong Xiaohe and Huzi, giving them a fright. This is even more terrifying than the assassins of the Netherworld Pavilion. Xiong Xiaohe and Huzi were dumbfounded. If Yi Feng and Yi Meng wanted to assassinate them, they would not be able to escape. Comprehending the origin of darkness, awakening the Dark Bloodline, and inheriting the Book of Darkness. Yi Feng and Yi Meng, I hope you don't let down your bloodline and your ancestor, Yi Qianjue. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he smiled faintly. Thank you, Saint, for giving us a new lease of life. Even if we were to be smashed to pieces, we would not be able to repay your kindness. Yi Feng and Yi Meng were extremely grateful as they knelt down before Ling Xiao. Get up. We are of the same origin. In the future, with me around, no one will dare to bully you. What's more, you have already mastered enough strength. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and helped them up. Yi Feng looked at Ling Xiao and gritted his teeth. Saint, the reason why our Yi family has fallen to such a state is all because of the Netherworld Pavilion. As long as the ancestors of our Yi family were found with the Dark Bloodline, they were all captured by the Netherworld Pavilion, and their Dark Bloodline was extracted to cultivate. Our father was also killed by the Netherworld Pavilion in order to protect us. Saint, please allow us to take revenge on the Netherworld Pavilion. If we don't take revenge, we are not human. Yi Feng and Yi Meng's eyes turned red. It was clear that this matter had been buried in their hearts for a long time. The Netherworld Pavilion? Damn it. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with killing intent. The descendants of Yi Qianjue had fallen to such a state. It made him furious. Not to mention that the Netherworld Pavilion had just sent assassins to kill him. Don't worry. Sooner or later, I will uproot the Netherworld Pavilion. If you want to take revenge, then work hard on cultivating. With your current strength, you are simply seeking death if you want to take revenge on the Netherworld Pavilion. Do you understand? Ling Xiao said to Yi Feng and Yi Meng. Thank you, Saint. We will definitely work hard on cultivating. Yi Feng and Yi Meng said firmly. After the dark bloodline awakened, there was a broad path in front of them. Ling Xiao sent Yi Feng and Yi Meng into the Heavenly God Stone. With the refinement of the heavenly path in the Heavenly God Stone, Yi Feng and Yi Meng would definitely be able to quickly comprehend the Heavenly Book of Darkness and obtain unparalleled strength. After all, although their cultivation had increased, their combat skills and abilities were still lacking. Two World City, Emperor Tomb Mountain's encampment. The sixth saint stood in front of a black-robed old man with an unwilling expression. Grandpa, if I used the power of the God King's shroud, Ling Xiao would definitely die. Why did you ask me to admit defeat? Losing the Soul Formation Supreme Pill and 30 million Pure Yang pills made the sixth saint's heart ache. Moreover, Ling Zhao's battle had solidified his reputation as a peerless genius. He, the sixth saint, had completely become Ling Zhao's stepping stone. There is something strange about Ling Xiao. You can't act rashly. The black-robed old man, who was the supreme elder of Emperor Tomb Mountain, Di Lin, said slowly with a cold glint in his eyes. My original body is still in the starry sky world. Just this incarnation alone might not be able to kill Ling Xiao. This time, I will enter the holy ground with you and set up a trap to kill Ling Xiao. At that time, the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God will be ours. Grandpa, does Ling Xiao really have the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God? The sixth saint's body trembled as a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. There is a very high possibility. Even if it isn't the inheritance of the Scarlet Dragon War God, there must be a huge secret. Di Lin's eyes shone with a strange light. Grandpa, the holy ground prohibits the power of a supreme being. Even if you hide in the God King's shroud, you will still be easily discovered, right? The sixth saint said with some worry. No worries, I have my ways. Chapter 598. A few days later, Ling Xiao came to the ancient loft again. Mu Tianji had brought the 7 space crystals and the world-breaking shuttle from the Tomb King City in exchange for the Heaven's Will outline. The space crystals were only the size of a fist, but they emitted a bright light. They looked perfect and had countless facets, each of which seemed to lead to a mysterious world. The space crystals contained the complete law of space, which was also a necessary treasure for a supreme being to condense a small world in one's body. The 7 space crystals had almost emptied the Tomb King City's collection. After all, the perfect space crystals were hard to come by even after the Tomb King City had plundered countless ancient tombs. But for the outline of Heaven's Will, the space crystals were nothing. The thing that made Mu Tianji's heart ache the most was the world-breaking shuttle. The world-breaking shuttle was a damaged divine tool, and it was severely damaged. It didn't even have the power of a supreme being weapon. But the world-breaking shuttle still retained the ability to travel through the void and break through the world walls. Even if one was trapped in a formation, they could still use the world-breaking shuttle to escape. After countless years of research, the Tomb King City came to the conclusion that if the world-breaking shuttle could be repaired, it could even break through the world walls and reach the eternal divine world. Thank you, Lord Mu. This is the outline of Heaven's Will. Ling Xiao smiled and handed the Heaven's Will outline to Mu Tianji. The world-breaking shuttle looked very ordinary, about 3 feet long, but there was a ripple that could destroy the void. With one look, Ling Xiao knew that this was the real world-breaking shuttle. Little friend Ling, if you can find the 9th piece of Heaven's Will in the holy ground, please sell it to the Tomb King City. The price will definitely satisfy you. Mu Tianji said with a smile. Lord Mu is too courteous. Lord Mu will definitely enter the holy ground when the time comes, right? With Lord Mu's strength, if there is a ninth piece of heaven's will in the holy ground, it will definitely fall into Lord Mu's hands. Ling Xiao smiled and turned to leave the ancient loft. After Ling Xiao left, a young man in black robes walked in from the back of the ancient loft. He had a slender figure and looked like he was in his 20s. His black hair was loose and his eyes were like lightning, exuding a powerful aura. He looked in the direction Ling Xiao left with a strange look in his eyes. Great-grandfather, why do you think so highly of Ling Xiao? You even gave him a supreme treasure like the realm-breaking shuttle? The black-robed young man said slowly. Mu Tianji muttered softly. Mu Xian, this brat Ling Xiao is not ordinary. He has the aura of that person from 10,000 years ago. That person? Heaven-devouring supreme Ling Xiao. Mu Xian's eyes widened as he asked in disbelief. Could it be that Ling Xiao is the successor of the heaven-devouring supreme? That's not all. I suspect that Ling Xiao is the reincarnation of Sky-devouring supreme. I'm afraid you don't know that Sky-devouring supreme's real name is Ling Xiao. Mu Tianji's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. The reincarnation of the heaven-devouring supreme? This news caused Mu Xian's body to tremble and his expression to change. Ling Xiao is definitely not an ordinary person to be able to possess the heavenly fate general outline and know so much about the Tomb King city. All these years, I've been studying the Heavens Will secret law, and I can faintly see that Ling Xiao has a close relationship with Heaven Devourer Supreme. That's why you have to befriend Ling Xiao this time. Maybe he'll be able to find the 9th chapter. Mu Tianji said with a sigh. Mu Xian nodded, but he was still a little unconvinced. Great-grandfather, aren't you overestimating Ling Xiao? He's only at the 9th level of the noble realm, and he has many enemies. I'm afraid the holy ground will be filled with danger. Don't underestimate him. If he's really the reincarnation of that person, anyone who dares to go against him won't have a good ending. That's why you have to help him in the holy ground if you can. This might be a chance for the Tomb King city. Mu Tianji looked at Mu Xian, and his voice gradually turned serious. Yes. Mu Xian nodded in agreement, but he still looked at Mu Tianji with some doubt. Great-grandfather, don't you intend to enter the holy ground? Mu Tianji shook his head. I do want to enter, but I'm afraid it's impossible. My cultivation level is too high. If I enter the holy ground, I'm afraid I'll attract the attention of those existences and bring disaster to the war god continent. Mu Xian nodded, but he didn't fully understand. After Ling Xiao left Taiguxian, his eyes lit up. He felt that Mu Tianji might have guessed his relationship with the heaven-devouring supreme. Although Ling Xiao didn't cultivate the Heavens Will general outline, he knew how terrifying the complete Heavens Will secret skill was. In Ling Xiao's previous life, he had interacted with the Lord of the Tomb King city. He knew that the people of the Tomb King city were the same as the Feng Shui family. They were a hidden ancient clan with a long history. They seemed to be related to the Scarlet Dragon war god from 1,000,000 years ago. Ling Xiao even guessed that the bloodline curse of the Tomb King city and the Feng Shui Li family might have been caused 1,000,000 years ago. The Wisdom King shines. The Buddha is eternal. The Wisdom Lord has arrived. Everyone retreat. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he suddenly heard a faint chanting sound in front of him. On the street ahead, a red carriage slowly approached. The carriage was decorated with glass, jade, gold and jade. It was also engraved with the Tao of the Supremes, making it look mysterious and extraordinary. The carriage was pulled by 2 heavenly horses of the Demon Emperor realm. The heavenly horses were snow white and had dragon horns on their heads. They were over 10 feet tall and looked very majestic. As their hooves landed, there were faint red lotuses around them, giving off an aura that made one's heart palpitate. Around the carriage, there was a group of young monks in red robes. There were both men and women. The men were handsome and the women were beautiful. All of them had their palms together and were chanting Sanskrit softly. Their bodies were enveloped in a faint Buddhist light. On the carriage, a handsome young monk in a blood-red kasaya sat cross-legged on a red lotus. Faint runes appeared around him, and as he chanted the name of Buddha, faint lotus flowers appeared around the chariot. Wisdom Lord. Ling Zhao's eyes moved. This young monk was exactly the same as the Wisdom Lord he saw in the God Burial Cave. It seems like that Wisdom Lord is just a clone. He lost the Tier 12 Blood Lotus, but he's still so calm. How rare. Ling Zhao's lips curled into a faint smile. If Wisdom Lord knew that the person who took his Tier 12 Blood Lotus was standing right beside him, what would his expression be? Moreover, Ling Zhao could tell that Wisdom Lord's cultivation was extremely high. He was at the peak of the 9th level of the Monarch realm, and was about to break through to the Half-Exalt realm. Master Mingzun, our Demon Emperor has been waiting for you for a long time. Please follow me. Han Feng led the Sky Demon Guards towards Wisdom Lord's carriage from afar with a smile on his face. Wisdom Lord nodded faintly and followed Han Feng forward. Demon Emperor? Could it be the Sky-Scorching Demon Emperor? Ling Zhao's heart shook. The Sky-Scorching Demon Emperor was the young palace master of the Sky Demon Palace. He was also the love rival of Ling Zhao's father. When did the Wise King Temple collude with the Sky Demon Palace? Chapter 599. Han Feng led Mingzun's carriage all the way to the depths of Two World City. They stopped in front of a huge cluster of palaces. This was the base of the Sky Demon Palace in Two World City. There were many pavilions and palaces, and it was grand and luxurious. Ling Zhao hid inside the Celestial Stone. The Celestial Stone turned into dust and followed Mingzun to a red palace. The Divine Stone was magical. Even a sovereign could not detect its aura. Mingzun was strong, but he could not detect that he was being followed. After Mingzun entered the palace, Han Feng closed the door and left. Buzz. A mysterious barrier rose up and completely enveloped the palace. A young man in red armor was sitting on the throne at the top of the palace. His body was covered in blazing flames. He looked very tall and burly. His long red hair fluttered in the wind, thick and glossy. His face was very handsome, and his eyes shone with divine light like two bright suns. He had an indifferent and emotionless temperament. Greetings, Sky-Burning Demon King. Mingzun smiled and bowed to the Sky-Burning Demon King with his palms together. Master Mingzun, please take a seat. The Sky-Burning Demon King said slowly, and his eyes shone with a strange light. A half-step sovereign? Inside the Heavenly Godstone, Ling Zhao was astounded. The Sky-Scorching Demon Emperor was extremely powerful. He was already a half-supreme, and it seemed like he had at least passed the tribulation of one elephant. His body was emitting a faint aura of a supreme. Ling Zhao had guessed correctly. The Sky-Burning Demon King was his father's rival in love. Mingzun smiled and said, Your Highness, when the holy ground opens, I will do my best to help you obtain the demonic sage's inheritance. However, are you sure that the place has opened? The Sky-Burning Demon King said slowly. That's right. The barrier has been getting weaker over the years. When it opens, we will be able to break the barrier and enter the core of the place. As long as you help me obtain the demonic sage's inheritance, the Sky Demon Palace will send their top experts to attack the Great Lane Temple together with Mingwang Temple. Thank you, Your Highness. However, the Eastern Ocean Crystal Palace, the Southern Ocean Fiery Mountain, and many other powerful beasts would not let go of this opportunity. There would surely be a fierce battle between the two beasts. This penniless monk heard that the Eastern Sea's Crown Prince, Long Zhantian, and the Blazing Mountains Lin Hui will be coming to compete for the final Demon Sage's inheritance. This matter concerns the position of the Demon Clan's leader. The competition will definitely be intense. Mingzun sighed and said, You're actually eyeing the demonic sage's inheritance? No wonder there was such a huge commotion when the holy ground opened this time. Ling Zhao's gaze flickered as he began to ponder. The Saint Ground was one of the 8 great forbidden grounds of the War God continent. According to legends, it was the final resting place of the demon sage. It was a space of its own, and not only were there countless heavenly and earthly treasures, but it also contained the demon sage's inheritance. However, the holy ground had been opened so many times, but no one had ever found the so-called demon sage's inheritance. As for the beast saint, it was said that he was the subordinate of the Scarlet Dragon War God. Legend had it that the War God Scarlet Dragon from 1,000,000 years ago had 4 divine guardians under him. The demon sage was one of them, and he passed away in the holy ground. The demon sage was the leader of the demon clan. Legend had it that whoever obtained the demon sage's inheritance would become the leader of the entire demon clan. Others thought that the demon sage's inheritance was just a legend, but Ling Xiao knew that the demon sage's inheritance did exist. In his previous life, Ling Xiao had obtained the sky-devouring secret skill from the holy ground. He had also met the old goat there. However, Ling Xiao had no way of opening the final location of the inheritance. Now, according to the sky-burning demon king and Ming Zun's words, the Sky Demon Palace and Ming Wang Temple had joined forces to obtain the demon sage's inheritance. The Fei Saint's inheritance should only be obtained by the Fei clan elites. If that's the case, the Sky Fei Palace, the Crystal Palace, and the Flaming Mountain, these three great Fei sacred grounds, are the most intense competitors in this holy ground. Ling Xiao thought to himself. The Blazing Mountain was the holy land of the flying demonic beasts, while the Sky Demon Palace was the holy land of the beasts. The Dragon Clan was originally a member of the Demon Clan, but later on, they formed their own clan. However, the Dragon Clan's bloodline was rare, and there were not many real dragons. It would be impossible for the other independent demon clans to compete with the three holy lands of the demon clans. Master, don't worry. There will be people to deal with the reptiles in the East Sea and the firebirds in the South Sea. The demon sage's inheritance in the holy ground can only belong to me. The sky-burning demon king said flatly. There was a tinge of dominance and majesty in his eyes. Your Highness is farsighted. I believe that after you obtain the demon sage's inheritance, you will definitely become a supreme being. Ming Zun said with a faint smile. There was a faint Buddha light in his eyes. Next, the sky-burning demon king and Ming Zun discussed some details. Ling Xiao secretly took note of it. When the conversation ended, Ling Xiao rode on the divine stone and left the Sky Demon Palace's encampment silently. Interesting. The sky-burning demon king wants to obtain the demon sage's inheritance? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. There was a tinge of coldness in his eyes. Since he already knew about the sky-burning demon king's scheme, Ling Xiao naturally would not let him obtain the demon sage's inheritance so easily. However, Ling Xiao was hesitant about whether to help the Crystal Palace or the Blazing Mountain. The crown prince of the East Sea Crystal Palace was Ling Xiao's cousin. If Ling Xiao guessed correctly, the Phoenix Lady would also come to the Blazing Mountain. No matter who obtained the demon sage's inheritance, he could not let the Sky Demon Palace take advantage of it. Ling Xiao pondered as he returned to the Sky Fragrance Inn. Are you Ling Xiao? As soon as Ling Xiao arrived at the Sky Fragrance Inn, he was stopped by a slender, handsome, and demonic young man. The young man looked to be in his 20s. His skin was as smooth as jade and his face was unbelievably handsome. His skin was smoother than a woman's and could be described as beautiful. He looked at Ling Xiao condescendingly with a tinge of inexplicable hostility in his eyes. I am Ling Xiao. Who are you? Ling Xiao frowned slightly and asked the young man in front of him. You don't seem to be anything special. I am Lin Hui from the Blazing Mountain. Stay away from Xiao Wu in the future. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude. The demonic young man smiled faintly. There was a sense of arrogance in his tone. Lin Hui from the Blazing Mountain? Never heard of him. Who I stay away from depends on my mood. It has nothing to do with you. Get out of my way. A good dog does not block the way. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. There was a tinge of coldness in his eyes. Chapter 600. Lin Hui seemed to be very strong, but he was only on par with Ming Zun. He was at the 9th level of the monarch realm, and possessed extraordinary natural talent. Moreover, Ling Xiao sensed a strand of powerful phoenix bloodline within him. He really was a genius that was worthy of pride. However, he'd found the wrong person to show off in front of Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao, how dare you insult me? Lin Hui's eyes flashed with a hint of coldness. Senior brother Lin, that's enough. I told you that I don't need you to interfere in my business. Suddenly, an icy cold voice resounded from behind Lin Hui. Feng Nu wore a black dress. Her skin was snow-white like jade, and her figure was extremely hot. Her fair bosom was on the verge of bursting out, and her slender legs were faintly discernible beneath her black dress. Her face was flawless, and her large and watery eyes seemed capable of seducing the soul. Just a single glance at her would cause one's blood to boil. Even Ling Xiao had to admit that the current Phoenix Maiden was more alluring than before. However, her expression was very unsightly, and she glanced coldly at Lin Hui. Little Wu Yu. Lin Hui's expression grew even more unsightly. Don't call me Little Wu. Senior brother Lin, we aren't that close. Feng Nu spoke indifferently, and then she walked past Lin Hui and directly walked over to Ling Xiao. She stared fixedly at Ling Xiao with her beautiful eyes, and then she smiled. It was like 100 flowers had bloomed, and her smile caused the world to dim in comparison. Everyone in the surroundings was actually mesmerized by her smile. Ling Xiao, long time no see. Feng Nu's red lips parted slightly as if she had a lot to say, but those were the only words that came out of her mouth. Feng Nu thought that she would never be able to see Ling Xiao again after they parted ways at the Sea of Reincarnation. Especially when Ling Xiao didn't hesitate to fall into the Sea of Reincarnation to save her. Every time she thought about it, it felt like a knife was being twisted in her heart. Not long ago, Ling Xiao's display of strength in Heavenly God City shook the entire War God continent, and news of it had spread to Flame Mountain. Feng Nu, who hadn't intended to participate in the opening of the hallowed grounds, immediately left her closed-door cultivation and headed towards Two Realm City. She believed that Ling Xiao would definitely come. As expected, she saw Ling Xiao here. Long time no see. You're getting more and more beautiful. Ling Xiao also revealed a radiant smile. He already knew that Phoenix Girl's Black Wind bloodline was the highest destination for her to return to was the Flaming Mountain. He did not expect that before Ling Xiao could send Phoenix Girl to the Flaming Mountain, she would catch the eye of the Flaming Mountain's master and be taken in as his last disciple. When the holy ground opens this time, I will protect you. The Phoenix Maiden smiled sweetly and stood beside Ling Xiao like a little maid. Her face was red and she looked very happy. Only then did Ling Xiao realize that the Virgin's cultivation had reached the pinnacle of the 9th level of the noble realm. She was no weaker than him. Moreover, the Phoenix Maiden's fire attribute divine powers were extremely powerful. Clearly, she had inherited many powerful divine powers in the Mountain of Flames. Seeing Phoenix Girl's appearance, Lin Hui's face turned ashen. In the Mountain of Flames, the Phoenix Maiden had never smiled at anyone. No matter how Lin Hui tried to please her, the Phoenix Maiden always maintained a cold attitude towards him. At this moment, the way the Phoenix Girl treated Ling Xiao infuriated Lin Hui. He was so jealous that he was about to go crazy. Jian Yuanchen, Cheng Jia, Xiong Xiaohe, and the others all widened their eyes. Their eyeballs almost popped out. She was the holy maiden of the Mountain of Flames, a peerless beauty. Yet she treated Ling Xiao in such a manner. They found it hard to believe. Brother Ling, you really have good luck with women. Jian Yuanchen smiled teasingly. He even remembered that in Heavenly God City, the moon goddess of the Moon Palace seemed to be very close to Ling Xiao. Their relationship was not ordinary. Ling Xiao was not only extremely talented in martial arts, but he was also very handsome. Wherever he went, he would have beautiful women to accompany him. Brother Ling, I really admire you. Why don't I, Xiong Xiaohe, have such a good life? Brother Ling, should we change the way we address her as sister-in-law? Xiong Xiaohe and Hu Zi, the two fools, winked at Ling Xiao and tried their best to tease him. Why are you talking so much nonsense? Get out of here. Ling Xiao gave each of them a knock on the head, and said with a straight face. Everyone entered the Heaven Fragrance House. Lin Hui left with an ashen face. If he stayed, it would only make him angry and jealous. He simply returned to the Mountain of Flames encampment. After everyone chatted for a while, they all left, leaving Ling Xiao and the Phoenix Lady alone. What exactly did you experience in the Reincarnation Sea? Phoenix Girl asked. She found it hard to imagine how Ling Xiao had escaped from the Reincarnation Sea and become so famous in the War God continent. He must have experienced many difficulties and obstacles that she did not know about. I did not encounter much danger in the Reincarnation Sea. Ling Xiao smiled and told her how he had escaped from the Reincarnation Sea, and what had happened after that. I knew that with your talent, You would be the most dazzling no matter where you go. Phoenix Girl said as she looked at Ling Xiao with her beautiful eyes. For some reason, Phoenix Girl felt that she was the most relaxed in front of Ling Xiao. She was the most authentic person. Huh. Then you really have confidence in me. However, I also believe that. Ling Xiao said with a smile. You think too highly of yourself. Phoenix Girl burst out laughing. You are going to the holy ground this time for the Demon Saint's inheritance, right? Ling Xiao looked at Phoenix Girl and asked seriously. You know about the Demon Saint's inheritance too? Phoenix Girl was a little surprised. That's right. This time, Master predicted that the Demon Saint's inheritance in the holy ground will appear again. Whoever obtains the Demon Saint's inheritance will become the leader of the demon clan. Therefore, the Sky Demon Palace, Crystal Palace, Mountain of Flames, and countless other powerful demon clans have been alerted. This time, they all want to fight for the Demon Saint's inheritance. Are you confident? Ling Xiao asked. No. Phoenix Girl smiled faintly. I am going to the holy ground this time to gain experience. The main force fighting for the Demon Saint's inheritance is Senior Brother Lin Hui. Master said that even if we can't obtain the Demon Saint's inheritance this time, we can't let the Sky Demon Palace get it. The leader of the Sky Demon Palace, the Great Sun Demon Venerable, is very ambitious. If he controls the demon clan and becomes the leader of the demon clan, it will be a disaster. Lin Hui? It will be difficult for him to compete with the Sky Demon Palace. Ling Xiao said. He thought of the sky-burning demon emperor. Although Lin Hui was good, he was still lacking compared to the sky-burning demon emperor. Are you talking about the sky-burning demon emperor? Both father and son are very ambitious. The Great Sun Demon Venerable once wanted to marry my master, but was rejected by her. His son also wants to marry the Princess Royal of the Crystal Palace. Their goal is to unify the three Great Saint lands and unify the demon clan. Phoenix Girl said with a cold smile. Marry the leader of the Mountain of Flames? The Great Sun Demon Venerable is very ambitious. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Even he could see the Sky Demon Palace's ambition. His cheap uncle, the Dragon King of the Crystal Palace, should know about it too. However, why did he want to marry his sister to the sky-burning demon emperor? Therefore, we are going to form an alliance with the Crystal Palace. No matter what, we can't let the sky-burning demon emperor get the Demon Saint's inheritance. Phoenix Girl said slowly. Forming an alliance with the Crystal Palace? That's a good idea. Moreover, there are countless creations and opportunities in the holy ground. If you follow me, you might be able to obtain a great creation. Chapter 601. Boom. In the east of Two Realm City, in the savage desolate demon realm, divine light soared into the sky, shaking the land. On an ancient and mysterious sacred mountain, divine lights were resplendent, and a sea of lightning surged. 108 stars appeared, and a mysterious door faintly appeared. The door was surrounded by endless starlight, as if it led to the other side of the starry sky. It was vast and majestic. The holy ground is about to open. An explosive news instantly spread throughout the savage desolate demon realm and Two Realm City. The door had not been completely opened yet, but some people could not wait, and began to rush toward the sacred mountain. In the heavenly fragrance pavilion, Ling Xiao was talking to the Phoenix Maiden. He was also alarmed by the commotion outside and immediately knew. The holy ground had opened. Let's go to. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of anticipation. The place where the ancient demon saint returned to, the inheritance of the demon's leader, and countless creation treasures. This time he must become a ruler in the holy ground. Ling Xiao and the Phoenix Maiden, together with Taoist Wuliang, Jian Yuanchen, Cheng Jia, Xiong Xiaohe, Hu Zi Yifeng Yimeng and the others left Two Realm City and headed toward the sacred mountain. Above the void, long rainbows shocked the sky. Streaks of divine lights flashed across the sky like lightning. Void chariots and mysterious carriages rushed toward the sacred mountain. The sacred mountain had an unusual status in the savage desolate demon realm. Rumor had it that 1,000,000 years ago, on the sacred mountain, the demon saint led the demons and was the ancestor of all demons. He contended against the humans and dominated a part of the world. Time passed. Although the demon saint had fallen, he opened up the sacred ground on the sacred mountain and left behind endless treasures and secrets. Many demon powerhouses regarded the sacred mountain as a holy land. Of course, the sacred mountain was now controlled by the heavenly demon palace. Iron-armored heavenly demon guards stood on the sacred mountain, emitting powerful auras. Every time the sacred ground opened, human powerhouses would participate, but most of them were demons. This was a grand event for the demons. This was because many of the inheritances and precious treasures in the holy ground could only be inherited by those with the bloodline of the demon clan. Human clan experts could only obtain some natural treasures in the holy ground, or even some places with good fortune to improve their cultivation. Therefore, at this moment, it could be said that the sacred mountain was full of demons. Tens of thousands of demons had gathered and emitted a monstrous demonic aura. Everyone's eyes were filled with anticipation as they stared intently at the door in the sky. 108 stars interweaved, and endless starlight sprinkled down. That mysterious door was incomparably ancient, and it had not been completely opened yet. Everyone was waiting. The young master of the 9 Infants clan is here. Someone's eyes widened in shock. They saw a streak of divine light flickering in the sky. A devilish young man in azure armor landed on a mountain peak. He radiated with an extremely sinister aura. He possessed a cultivation at the 3rd level of the monarch realm, but the 9 Infant clan was a primeval clan that possessed a peerlessly formidable bloodline and peerless natural talent. So their true combat strength couldn't be determined by their cultivations. The young patriarch of the Pegasus clan, Wuxia, is here too. That fellow is said to be as cowardly as a mouse, and he's extremely lecherous. I wonder how he became the young patriarch. The forest in the distance whistled while the ground rumbled. A handsome young man in a white robe who held a silver spear in his hand and rode a white horse was galloping towards the sacred mountain under the protection of a group of guards in white armor. The white-robed young man was very handsome. He had a slender figure, and his cultivation was at the 1st level of the monarch realm. However, his eyes were glowing as they darted about. He was staring incessantly at the outstanding women in the crowd, and he seemed to be very wretched. The Pegasus clan was a powerful clan that possessed the bloodline of the ancient Pegasus, and their patriarch was an Exalt realm expert. That was why they hadn't been absorbed by the Sky Demon Palace. After that, the geniuses of the various independent demon clans and powerful ancient clans arrived successively. Every single one of them had dignified appearances and seemed to be extremely confident. They intended to reap some benefits from the hallowed grounds. Roar! Right at this moment, a dragon's roar resounded. In the sky, the wind and clouds changed color, and dazzling lightning flashed. A void warship in the shape of a dragon soared through the sky, and a group of tall and handsome young men stood on it. Is that the crown prince of the Crystal Palace, Long Zhantian? Someone's body trembled, and a trace of surprise appeared in his eyes. The young man in the lead looked to be in his 20s. He wore a golden dragon robe with 5 claws, and a jade crown on his head. His face was resolute and handsome, and he exuded an indescribable domineering and majestic aura. His cultivation had already reached the half-step to the Exalt realm, but it seemed like he had just broken through not long ago. His body was still filled with a vast Exalt realm aura, and it caused everyone's expression to change. The Dragon clan was the most powerful clan among the demon clans. In the ancient times, they were the overlords of the world. Their bloodline was unparalleled, and they were extremely powerful. Although Long Zhantian had just broken through to the half-step to the Exalt realm, his aura caused many old monsters' expressions to change. Under Long Zhantian's dazzling radiance, those geniuses from before were overshadowed. The person standing beside Long Zhantian, isn't that Li Jingming, the eldest disciple of the Shura sect? Someone was shocked when he saw a black-robed young man standing beside Long Zhantian. The black-robed young man was tall, and his face looked like it was carved by a knife. He was extremely handsome, but he looked very cold, and he exuded an aura that kept people away. His body was surging with killing intent, and he exuded a strong fighting spirit. Even if he stood beside Long Zhantian, He was not inferior in any way. Li Jingming's cultivation was also at the half-step to the Exalt realm. It's really Li Jingming. Li Jingming is a rare genius in the Shura sect. He's not even 100 years old, but he's already a half-step to the Exalt realm. It's said that his Shura heavenly scripture has reached the great completion, and he has killed many old monsters at the half-step to the Exalt realm. The Dragon Clan is with the Shura sect. Could it be that the two Holy Lands have formed an alliance? Many experts from the Demon Clan looked worried. If the Dragon Clan and the Shura sect formed an alliance, with the two peerless geniuses, Long Zhantian and Li Jingming, who else would have a share of the treasures in the holy ground? Rumble. The sky in the distance seemed to have been set ablaze by flames. An extremely handsome young man came through the sky with a few old men, and he exuded an arrogant aura. The peerless genius of the blazing mountain, Lin Hui, someone exclaimed when he recognized the demonic young man. Lin Hui has the bloodline of the ancient divine beast, the Fire Phoenix. Although he's only at the 9th level monarch realm, I'm afraid it won't be long before he breaks through to the half-step to the Exalt realm. The peerless genius of the blazing mountain. Didn't I hear that the new disciple of the blazing mountain's master, the Phoenix Maiden, will be here as well? Why is Lin Hui alone? Some people were puzzled. Lin Hui also saw Long Zhantian, and he cupped his fists and smiled. Greetings, Brother Long. Brother Lin, you're too polite. Chapter 602. This time around, the elders of the two clans had instructed that the Sky Monster Palace was powerful, and they wanted to get their hands on the Fey Saint's inheritance. Hence, the two clans had agreed to help each other in the holy ground, and they must not let the Sky Monster Palace get the Fey Saint's inheritance. Hence, Long Zhantian and Lin Hui looked at each other and smiled. Rumble. Above the void, there seemed to be a blazing light flashing. It was a flaming rainbow bridge that spanned across hundreds of millions of miles. The sky-burning monster emperor strode over with a towering aura, and there seemed to be flames burning in his eyes. Ming Zun stood beside him with his palms together and a smile on his face. However, he looked extremely evil and his body was covered with a mysterious Buddha light. The sky-burning monster emperor, and Ming Zun instantly appeared at the peak of the sacred mountain. A towering aura exploded and suppressed the surroundings. It's the sky-burning monster emperor. Someone was shocked. The sky-burning monster emperor's aura was majestic, and he was like the leader of the monster clan that was worshipped by thousands of monsters. There was an aura that made one's heart tremble. The arrival of the sky-burning monster emperor seemed to have suppressed the entire world. Only the aura of the sky-burning monster emperor was left in the area. Even Long Zhantian and Lin Hui's radiance seemed to have been overshadowed by the sky-burning monster emperor. He has passed the earth test. Long Zhantian's eyes flashed, and he could feel the terror of the sky-burning monster emperor's body. His blood was like a furnace. Brother Long, the holy ground is about to open. Forget about Lin Hui, the sky-burning monster emperor is your greatest opponent. Li Jingming looked at the sky-burning monster emperor and said, "Is that Ming Zun from the Mingwang Temple? He has found a good helper." Long Zhantian looked at Ming Zun and said slowly. Li Jingming said, "I'm afraid that's not all. I heard that Emperor Tomb Mountain, Star Palace and Nantian family have secretly supported the Sky Monster Palace. This time around, they will definitely send experts over." Long Zhantian nodded. It seemed that the sky-burning monster emperor was determined to get the Fey Saint's inheritance. He had invited so many people to help him. The sixth holy son of Emperor Tomb Mountain is here. Someone saw the sixth holy son walking over from afar with a few young disciples of Emperor Tomb Mountain behind him. All of them had extraordinary auras. The Nantian cavalry of the Nantian family? Is that the new Nantian heavenly king? Someone's eyes widened in shock as he saw a group of armored horsemen rushing over from the distant mountain forest, emitting an overflowing baleful aura. The leader was a young man in black armor. He looked extraordinarily handsome, and his expression was incomparably indifferent. His eyes seemed to shoot out a bright light. And star palaces. Gaochen Xingzi. Dazzling starlight sprinkled down, and the big stars in the sky flickered. The endless starlight intertwined and formed a throne. An emperor-like man came down from the sky, exuding boundless domineering and majestic aura. He wore a starry robe, and his gaze was indifferent. His skin emitted divine light, and his long black hair scattered behind him. He possessed an exceptional temperament, and his cultivation was deep and immeasurable. As soon as the sixth saint, South Heavenly King, and Gaochen's starchild appeared, the sky-burning demon emperor welcomed them with a smile. Sure enough, it's them. The Sky Demon Palace is really bold. Long Zhantian's eyes flashed as he looked at the sixth holy sun and the others. With the help of these people, Sky Demon Palace could be said to be like a tiger that had grown wings. Swoosh! Just then, a blazing sword light swept across the sky. It was vast and dazzling, as though it had pierced through the void. A group of young disciples in white with long swords on their backs landed on Saint Mountain. They stood upright like divine swords that shot up to the sky. The leader was a young man in white with white hair. His gaze was sharp, and he exuded a boundless sword essence. He was like the emperor of swords, and the surrounding long swords were buzzing. It's the first disciple of the Sword God Pavilion, Jian Wushuang? Someone was shocked, and there was a tinge of respect in his eyes. The first disciple of the Sword God Pavilion, Jian Wushuang, was known as the sword principal genius of the war god continent for 10,000 years. He had received the true inheritance of the Sword God Pavilion's 7 strokes of heaven interception. He had once fought his way into the heavenly devil ancient land alone, and killed countless extraterrestrial demons, including 9-star heavenly demons. His name had shaken the entire war god continent. He was definitely not a peerless genius like Long Zhantian, Li Jingming, and the sky-burning demon emperor. He belonged to the top of the war god continent. Even Celestial Master Nan paled in comparison to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang led the disciples of the Sword God Pavilion, and landed on a mountain peak. He sat down cross-legged, his white robe and white hair fluttering in the wind. He had no intention of greeting anyone. Everyone guessed that Jian Wushuang was a neutral party, and did not belong to any of the 3 demon clan holy grounds. Boom! The void vibrated, and a void treasure ship flew across the sky, exuding a faint supreme divine power. It was extremely terrifying. Are they from the precious treasure pavilion? Someone's eyes were filled with incomparable shock. This void treasure ship was actually a quasi-sovereign weapon. Most of the people present here were probably suppressed by this void treasure ship. Only the precious treasure pavilion was so wealthy. A woman in a red dress stood on top of the ship. She was tall and slender, with skin like jade. Her waist was small and slender, and her breasts were white and tender. She had a perfect face. Her red lips were slightly swollen, and her nose was tall and straight. She had a pair of large eyes that could steal souls. She exuded a strange charm. Just by standing there, she exuded an aura of peerless elegance. Everyone's eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The saintess of the precious treasure pavilion, Su Mainyang. Sky-scorching demon emperor's eyes flashed, revealing a hint of passion. He stared at the lady in the red dress without concealing it. She is indeed from the 9-tailed fox clan. Su Mainyang is indeed a natural seductress. She is peerless. I wonder how many bloodlines Su Mainyang has awakened. Ming Zun said with a smile. I'm afraid she has no choice but to come. Among the 2 clans of the precious treasure pavilion, the 9-tailed fox clan is the weaker one. They are about to be swallowed up by the human clan. If this lady is willing to be my concubine, perhaps I can help her resolve the crisis of the precious treasure pavilion. Sky-scorching demon emperor said indifferently. Su Mainyang was followed by a few old ladies. Great Elder Chintong, whom Ling Xiao was familiar with, was also standing beside her. They landed on a small hill. Immediately, many young talents from the demon clan surrounded them. They tried their best to pretend to be elegant in order to attract Su Mainyang's attention. Su Mainyang smiled faintly. With just a few words, many young talents were mesmerized. Each of them slapped their chests and swore to protect Su Mainyang in the holy ground. This lady is not bad. I like her. At this moment, an ear-piercing voice was heard. Ling Xiao and Phoenix Woman stood side by side and strolled over from afar. They looked like a perfect couple. They were a little late. Chapter 603. Bastard. How dare you blaspheme Fairy Sue? That old man. Are you looking for death? This guy is too wretched. When the young talents beside Su Mainyang heard what Taoist Wuliang said, they glared at him angrily. They were filled with righteous indignation and wanted to be her protectors. Ling Xiao. Su Mainyang's eyes lit up as she looked at Ling Xiao. This young man was very mysterious. She could not see through him at all. However, Su Mainyang could faintly feel that Ling Xiao could help her in the holy ground. Bastard. When Lin Hui saw Ling Xiao and Phoenix Girl walking over side by side, his originally smiling face instantly turned ashen. The sixth saint, Gaochen Star and Nan Tianwang also noticed Ling Xiao and their eyes were filled with cold murderous intent. Ling Xiao had killed Holy Master Nan, killed the 3 stars and a few elders of Star Palace and defeated the sixth saint. It could be said that he had offended the Nantian family, Star Palace and Emperor Tomb Mountain. Naturally, the 3 of them would not be nice to him. Long Zhantian's gaze fell on Ling Xiao, and his expression became complicated. Brother Long, that's Ling Xiao your cousin? With a cultivation of LV9 noble realm, he was able to kill Holy Master Nan and the 3 pieces of trash from Star Palace. He is indeed talented. Li Jingming looked at Ling Xiao and smiled. Cheng Jia had already told him what had happened in Two World City. Hence Li Jingming was familiar with Ling Xiao. He has grown from a small 8 desolation region to such a realm. He is indeed talented. However, it will be difficult to change my father's opinion and release my aunt. Long Zhantian smiled bitterly. If Crystal Palace does not admit it, Xiaolua sect will not be courteous. Master said that no matter what, Ling Xiao must be accepted into Xiaolua sect. Li Jingming smiled. You wish. Long Zhantian stared at him and said, Ling Xiao is from the Dragon tribe. How can he be accepted into Xiaolua sect? It seems that I have to take care of this cousin in the holy ground. Emperor Tomb Mountain, Star Palace and Nantian family must hate him to the core. Long Zhantian felt a little helpless. He did not know what Ling Xiao was doing here when the holy ground opened. However, this brat's luck with women was pretty good. He actually managed to seduce the new saint of the Mountain of Flames. Didn't he see the way the people around him looked at him, as though they wanted to eat him up? Ling Xiao was quite famous, but the geniuses of the demon tribe were all arrogant and unruly. When they saw that Ling Xiao was only a level 9 noble realm cultivator, they immediately felt indignant. Smelly Taoist, you dare to blaspheme Fairy Sue? Why aren't you kneeling down and admitting your sins? This stinking Taoist priest is too shameless. Watch me tear his face apart. Many demon clan geniuses were filled with righteous indignation, but most of them were looking at Ling Xiao, wanting to see his expression. In the end, Ling Xiao was still smiling as if he didn't care about anything. Boom. An incomparably burly man, whose entire body emitted a bronze light, was a first-level ruler. He was a genius of the Bronze Rhinoceros clan, and he immediately pounced toward Taoist Wuliang. Monstrous qi and blood filled the air as he punched out, causing the void to explode. How dare you touch my beard with that little cultivation of yours? Go home and drink your mother's milk, Taoist Wuliang said with disdain, and then he lightly slapped out with his palm. Boom. The genius of the Bronze Rhinoceros clan was slapped to the ground by Taoist Wuliang, and then Taoist Wuliang sent him flying back with a kick. A level 9 noble realm cultivator? Someone was shocked. Only now did they realize Taoist Wuliang's cultivation. Although this fellow had a nasty mouth, his cultivation wasn't weak. This caused many people who wanted to probe Ling Xiao's background to be extinguished. Junior sister, as the saint of the Mountain of Flames, you have to take care of your status. Don't mix with random people and embarrass the Mountain of Flames for no reason. Lin Hui, who was standing in the distance, couldn't help but glare coldly at Ling Xiao and Phoenix Maiden. Senior brother Lin, it's my freedom to be with whoever I want. It's none of your business. Phoenix Maiden glanced coldly at Lin Hui as she spoke. Taoist Wuliang glanced sideways at Lin Hui as well and said, Who do you think you are? You're neither a man nor a woman. How could there be someone like you in the Mountain of Flames? Lin Hui's face instantly turned cold while a trace of icy cold killing intent appeared in his eyes. He was very handsome indeed, just like a woman. So he hated it when others called him neither a man nor a woman. Taoist Wuliang had simply touched his reverse scale, and it instantly infuriated him. Stinking Taoist, I'll kill you. Killing intent flickered in Lin Hui's eyes as he slapped his palm towards Taoist Wuliang. It was like a flaming phoenix was pouncing towards him, and it emanated a blazing glow that surged into the sky. I was right. Are you trying to kill me out of anger? Do you think I'm afraid of you? Taoist Wuliang cried out, and then his figure flashed and instantly teleported away. Rumble. The ground where Taoist Wuliang stood a moment ago exploded with a bang. Rocks flew everywhere, and it instantly transformed into a pool of lava with raging flames. It was an extremely terrifying sight. The true phoenix fire? Everyone's eyes flickered. The true phoenix fire that Lin Hui used was incomparably terrifying. An ordinary 9th-level ruler would have been turned into ashes in an instant. This Taoist priest seemed to have some tricks up his sleeve. Go to hell. Lin Hui's eyes shone with divine light. There seemed to be mysterious runes flickering in his hand, and the void was trembling violently. A shrill cry of a phoenix rang out in the air. A phoenix appeared in Lin Hui's palm and pounced towards Yi Futian. The air seemed to explode from the power of the phoenix. A phoenix striking the 9 heavens? That's the supreme killing technique. Ling Xiao, I'm afraid that your friend won't be able to resist it. The phoenix maiden's expression changed, and a trace of worry appeared in her eyes. Don't worry. Taoist Wuliang won't be defeated so easily. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. He was full of confidence in Taoist Wuliang. Immeasurable heavenly venerate. Taoist Wuliang smiled faintly. There seemed to be a faint purple aura in his eyes. He soared into the sky, and a purple thunderbolt exploded behind him, turning into a terrifying heavenly thunderbolt that swept across the sky. 5th lightning heaven will palm. It was also a supreme killing technique. It was Taoist Wuliang's signature lightning technique. When cultivated to the extreme, it could even turn into chaotic divine lightning. It was boundlessly terrifying. The power of the 5 elements, metal, wood, water, fire and earth, spread and turned into the 5 elements divine lightning. It directly broke through the world in front of him, and destroyed the blazing fire phoenix. If you can comprehend the power of the phoenix striking the 9 heavens, perhaps I'll be a little afraid of you. However, you've only comprehended the power of the phoenix striking the 7 heavens. How dare you be arrogant in front of me? Taoist Wuliang said indifferently. He slapped out again, and the 5 elements divine lightning gathered. It was like an immemorial lightning mountain that suppressed Lin Hui. Kill. Lin Hui's expression was very ugly. If he wanted to fully comprehend the phoenix striking the 9 heavens, he would have to become a supreme being. The phoenix striking the 9 heavens used the power of the phoenix to superimpose the power of the 9 heavens. Each level was stronger than the previous. It was extremely terrifying. It was already very rare for him to be able to comprehend the power of the 7 heavens. Just as Taoist Wuliang and Lin Hui were engaged in an intense battle, the 108 stars in the void shone brightly at the same time. The resplendent starlight shone in all directions, and the ancient door in the sky opened completely. You're tuning in to the Limei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.